What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. It's Friday night. You know what that means. First of all, station, it's PCP Movie Night. Tonight, we've been doing this thing. Last week, it was the audience pick. We did Mallrats. We had a grand old time. This week, it's my pick because it's Robbie week. So happy Robbie week, everybody. And my pick is the movie Southland Tales from the director, Richard Kelly. I adore this film. And we got a great assortment of guests here tonight to talk about this movie, Southland Tales, with us, including Jelani. What's up, Jelani?
What's up, guys? Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, man. Good times. I'm glad that we're doing this one because.
Hey, man, do you ever feel like there's like 1,000 different people in your head, but your memory that keeps them glued together? Speaking of keeping your memory glued together, hey, it's Joe. Joe Corallo's back.
Hello.
Who just had a new comic book out this week, Beckstar #1. It was actually my pick of the week.
Thank you.
And I loved it. We sold out. I got more. I'm sure we're going to sell out of that batch.
Awesome.
So far, great. People are liking it, Joe. I really like it. So
I go get it. I think it's probably my strongest thing so far. I'm really happy with how it came out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of happy with how he came out, it's Brooks. What's up, Brooks? Station.
What's up, you Cro-Magnon bitch?
Wow.
I love that out of all the quotes to pull from the movie Southland Tales, that's what he goes for. All right, so tonight we're talking about Southland Tales. It's from writer-director Richard Kelly. This movie, it first released at the Cannes Film Festival in 2006, but it got its theatrical release in 2007. Arrow just had this brand new special edition that has both cuts of the movie, the slip and the reversible cover. So you just can't beat this. A great presentation, a new 2K scan, and I loved it. I watched both versions this week. I love this film. So it's his follow-up to Donnie Darko. He first wrote this film back in the 90s, and it was just supposed to be like this madcap caper movie about a comedy troupe that like kidnaps an action star, right? And it's just this zany adventure. And then 9/11 happened, and then he got a lot of notoriety with Donnie Darko, and so then he started adding in all these elements. And what the movie is, very simply put, is it's a satirical at Hollywood and at American society. Like, it's an interpretation of the Book of Revelation from the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got a late addition to the panel. It's Mike 06. What's up, Mike?
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Hey, Mark.
So the movie, eventually there's so much was added into it. This was one of those movies that you either love or you hate. You know what I'm saying? And it bombed at Cannes Film Festival. They cut it down and it never got like a real release. Richard Kelly still considers it to be an unfinished film that he'd like to get back to, and like maybe some kind of like extended streaming service or whatnot, which could be cool. We'll talk about all that later. But overall, I love this film. The first time I watched it, when it was over, I had no idea what the hell it was about or anything like that. Like, aside from like just what's on the surface, like obviously it's a satirical thing about like the Patriot Act and the surveillance system and all that stuff. Right. And so, but there was something about the tone of the movie that I found so compelling. And I was just like, I got to get back to that. And I think a lot of that is because of the score. I'm a big Moby fan. So it has that like cinematic flow to it, kind of melancholy. It's that Richard Kelly thing. It's kind of what I get from Donnie Darko. It's cool. It's science fiction. It's a bit metaphysical. And it's dark, and it's got some nice turns, and it's also very funny in my opinion. So the second time I watched it, I just loved it. And every time I watch this movie, I love it even more. It's like, Jelani's always talking about rewatchability. This movie to me is like the peak of rewatchability. Like, I love this movie, and I always pick out something new. It's zany. It's weird. It's hard for a lot of people to kind of digest. It does have a graphic novel that's, I think, coming back in print fairly soon, if it's not already. But this is chapters 1, 2, and 3, and the movie is chapters 4, 5, and 6. This really helps explain a lot, but it's not completely necessary. They really recap a lot of that stuff in the first 10 minutes. But I love this film, obviously, because I picked it. I think it's a satirical genius movie, like for real. So, Jelani, what do you think of the movie, and what do you think on the rewatch?
Well, see, I can't give it that glowing praise, man, but it's okay to me.
It's going down already.
Well, no, I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it. I don't hate the movie at all. I really like it. I like The Rock. I like certain aspects of the film, but I think it's a lot of ideas that were put together at the same time, and I don't know if it was going somewhere for me. Yeah. It has its moments. Like I said, I've watched it 3 times. This is the 3rd time I've seen it. So, I mean, and each time I get another layer of it. And I keep forgetting John Lovitz is in it. And it just throws me off. And it's John Lovitz is like a crazy killer. We'll get into that. But this film is insane. It's absolutely freaking bonkers. I cannot believe, like, he had this many concepts in one film. It's comedy. It's science fiction. It's talking about metaphysical things. It's God. It's the 4th dimension. It's everything. It's so jam-packed, and it's all coming at you at once. So it's just one of those films that, like, I'm just like, God, this is crazy. And that's why I understand why Robbie likes it. So that's definitely, this is still the 3rd time I've seen it, and I'm still like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Well, I love it because, there's not another movie that I think is like this whatsoever. Like, this is something so ambitious. And a lot of, I was watching some video content here on YouTube over the week, and most people are like, oh yes, evidence of the sophomore slump. Richard Kelly had one of the most disastrous follow-ups to a critical success. And I'm like, I severely disagree. In this movie, I mean, I honestly think Richard Kelly, and I wish he had more films under his belt, but he definitely directs for cult. You know what I'm saying? Like, his movies are just instantaneously, I think, from this point forward, just going to be cult classics because he's a little unconventional. He does put a lot of ideas. Like, some people think, they're like, Donnie Darko is really like indecipherable to me. And to me, it's like, I think it's actually a simple story, right? But it's not. That's just a bit about decorum.
Yeah, I know.
But I didn't want to get misconstrued there. But I find this movie just so freaking enjoyable, man.
But I love Donnie Darko. I absolutely adore Donnie Darko.
It's a completely different film, though.
But it's a completely different film. It is. But of the two, I mean, I see where you're going. I see where Kelly's trying to go with these films. It's just, he wants you to, like, tear your brain out. He wants multiple watchings. You have to watch this more times than once to get everything, every layer of it. And that's all of it. That's been at least these 2 films. That it's insane. But I love Donnie Darko, how it's just put together. And the extended stuff with Swayze. Oh yeah, I love that. But he's got a lot to say, but it's coming at, like I said before, all at once. Yeah. It's just a tunnel of oh, okay, I get it. and pimps don't commit suicide. So I get it.
Mhm.
Joe, what do you think about the film?
Yeah, I'd seen this a bunch. This was the first time I've seen it in years, but I saw it multiple times when it had come out. It was the same kind of thing. It was friends of mine who were like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. You got to watch it multiple times," and all of that. And one of the first things that really hits you with the movie is why are these people in this movie, and so many of these people in this movie,
right?
And that kind of stuff really drives you. Like, that's like the hook, I think, for a lot of people getting it in. Like, oh, it's The Rock and Sarah Michelle Gellar and Sean William Scott and John Lovitz. And,
Yeah,
and John Lovitz and Sherry O'Terry.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like the SNL cast and Nora Dunn.
Yeah, and Amy Poehler. What is going on here? And that kind of, I think, is a decent hook to get people in. Obviously Justin Timberlake. I mean, yeah, you could rattle on and on. And for me, it kind of also fits into this, like, because not long after this was another film, I think within a year or two, not a Richard Kelly film, but it was Repo the Genetic Opera, which fills a very similar niche for me. It's another one of those movies that's like, who's in this? And you watch it and you're like, what is this? Like, it's that kind of thing. So like I associate these like movies as like, it was like this kind of time where like these weird sort of movies were coming out. I forgot just exactly like how grounded in the time it was. Like, I knew it was, but like when you know something and then you watch it, and even knowing it, you're like, oh wow, I forgot it was this much in the whole Iraq war bit. And when you're like away from that kind of media and thinking for years at this point, and then you come back and you're like, oh my God, like now it comes off, having been separated from it for so long, it comes off a lot more heavy-handed than it did when I think we were like in the thick of it, because that was just life. So it's not heavy-handed, it's life. And then and now, having stepped away from it so long, it took a minute to like adjust, because I'm like, oh my God, this is like such like it was like opening like a time capsule.
Yeah.
As opposed to just feeling natural. So that was jarring. But yeah, I'm rambling enough. Next person can ramble about their thoughts on their impressions.
What do you think overall about the film?
I like this movie, but this is a movie I always have to watch twice, because I think the thing is there's so many moving parts in this movie, and like so many different characters doing and different things, So like the first time I have to kind of like get a sense of, what's what and who's who. And then so the second time I watch it, I'm like, already know, all that stuff. And I can actually like, process what the movie is about. But yeah, like the first time I watched it, I remember like, I don't get it. And then you gave it to me. So like, I told you like, I don't get it, man. And you're like, watch it again. So I watched it again, like, oh yeah, okay. And then like this time, the same time again, like I watched it and I was like, I don't get it. Well, I kind of get it, but I was a lot more confused. Then I watched the same thing, like, oh.
Yeah, we had the same conversation. You were like, I didn't get it again. And I was like, watch it again. You're like, that did work last time.
It's like, I always forget how many like how many big names are in this movie too. Like Kevin Smith is in this fucking movie.
Right?
He's in the can cut a lot more. Janine Garofalo's in the film too.
Yeah.
You see her in the theatrical cut just a little bit because her whole thing got cut out. But she's the one that's her and the Kevin Smith character are running the Operation Project Serpentine Dream Theory or whatever, that's giving the drugs to the soldiers. Because this is something that's way elaborated on in here. But they're giving the drugs to these people, and of course Pilot and Roland were in the same experiment, and they were given this drug which makes them bleed back into time, and then when they do it enough, they start bleeding into the future. And so in this movie, they're actually like telepathically kind of connected. In particular, at the end, the idea is that Pilot's actually forgiving Roland at the same time that he's forgiving himself, and so they really go into that. And while it also gives them telepathy on the battlefield, right? And while they were in the midst of this, they were in a live battle scene, and Roland, Sean William Scott's character, is his real name Roland or Ronald? I think it's
Ronald.
Ronald is
Ronald.
The future one.
They're the twins.
Okay.
Ronald's
And
the
then
fake name.
he throws a grenade and it's at Pilot. He didn't realize it's him because he's tripping. You know what I'm saying? And he's like bleeding through time and everything.
Yeah.
There's this whole other thing too. You see a little bit. There's so much information packed in to the like the news screens and all the little scrolls and stuff. Like there's so much stuff. There's this, they keep alluding to this roller coaster, and like there's a roller coaster that Boxer goes on to in the comic book, and he goes back into time because he injects himself with fluid karma, and he goes back in time, and there's this
animated short that comes with it.
Yeah, those are kind of like
the jellyfish.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, I actually noticed in the second watching that parts of that are in the movie.
Yeah.
And they kind of pop up in the background.
It's so much. It's so much information.
There's a lot.
Man.
There's this whole thing where he sees like a Native American shaman, and there's this weird thing that kind of gets anyway. What? There's a lot in this film. You're right, and I like stuff that I got to reread or rewatch. I like stuff that I get to invest in. If I want to buy something, I want to own it. I want to be able to revisit it and get something out of it and dig a little bit deeper. Speaking of digging deep, what about you, Mike? What do you think about Southland Tales? And welcome.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. It's a great film. I remember when it came out, the girl I was dating at the time, Jody, was just like, "Hey, there's a new Justin Timberlake movie coming out. I want to watch it." And I was like, "All right, cool." So, like, under the disguise of a JT movie. So she's like, "Oh yeah, but I think that wrestler's in it too." So I was like, "All right, cool." And so we watched it, and she was bored and confused, and I was confused and intrigued. So I was like, "What the hell did I just watch?" So, and I watched it again a few days later, and really enjoyed the film. But there's just so much in there to like pull apart, and it's just like you can sit there with every. We'll talk about it later, but in music. But there's so many quotes from songs that are in there that it's just like, oh, you have to look at the song and what the song means, and then that song has a meaning and how it relates. And so it's Richard Kelly was just pulling like a lot of that into everything. So the music is a big factor. Also, it's really impressive to see like a bunch of the cast is probably what everybody's going to talk about the most, but how it's you have a bunch of young unknown people, some older established stars, and then kind of that middle of the pack in the early 2000s kind of actors.
Yeah.
And so, because I mean, The Rock wasn't he was big in wrestling, but I think he only did like.
This was at the beginning of his film career, pretty much.
He's already the Scorpion King.
That's what I was going to say. The Scorpion King. He's the Scorpion King, and I think he was in Get Shorty or whatever.
He was in. He was in the Rundown with with Christopher Walken.
Shawn Williams.
But he wasn't who he is today. He's not
megastar Rock.
And here's one thing. Joe had mentioned how this movie it feels so of its time, and that's true. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of prophetic, like a little bit. Like there's a lot that's going on in the movie, like that. Almost like Richard Kelly kind of could almost see bits of where the culture was going to go, like how divisive everybody is.
Oh yeah,
and all that stuff, and like the crazy amounts of just distraction and there's, this is before Edward Snowden, like let everybody know, they're spying on y'all, and that's what the whole movie they're watching. Like when Starla's on bathroom duty, like this is so bad. Speaking of the cast though, Mike, and you're right. Like the cast is great. And Richard Kelly said there was like a 10th anniversary Q&A or something that he did that I watched. And he was talking about how he specifically was trying to make a statement on celebrity and how like celebrity was becoming identity, or how he thought it would become even more. And that's another prophetic thing I think about this movie. But he wanted to cast people that were already we had preconceived notions of their type. The Rock was the action star; he's the wrestler. Sarah Michelle Gellar, was Buffy, so she was, what I'm saying. And Sean William Scott's the dumb kid in American Pie. He wanted to cast people that we already had preconceived notions of, and then throw them in some different ways. So let's talk about the cast.
Yeah.
My favorite performance in this movie is Sean William Scott, because he's the goofy kid in American Pie. You know, he's the guy that in all these movies, he's just the smart ass. He's the jokester. He's the trickster, right? And in this one, this was the first time I realized this dude has some serious acting chops. I love the tone of the performance that he brings, the level of confusion, which this movie is confusing, you know, but when he's sitting there, he's like, there's a delay in my reflection. And I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, what? This is like, what? But I love how he's kind of deadpan. He's got this great delivery. Certain lines could have been delivered very quirky, but The Rock was handling that. So like when a line hits and the way he delivers the moment, like one of my favorite moments of the film, and Justin will agree with me, is when he just goes, we're going to take the ATM machine with us to Mexico. And he's just like, so just matter of fact. And I love his performance. I think it's rather powerful and moving to me. What's the performance and character you want to highlight, Jelani?
I am going to go with The Rock. I'm going to take Boxer Santeros. He is so out of character for The Rock to be this character. Like, to be as scared, as confused, and as amnesiac as he is in this film. And he's always doing this. And I don't know what this is, but I'm like, yeah, make him look crazy.
It's his two halves meeting. It's an allusion to the idea of the handshake coming. What would happen if they two identical souls? And he has like this thing happening where he's also starting to take on the character from the screenplay of Jericho Kane. So he actually goes between both of those characters in the movie, which I think is a really brilliant thing, because if you've never seen this movie, I bet this is going to be really confusing, because here's another element. The screenplay that Krista now has written is a prophecy of the end times. In the book, they explained that they gave her a bunch of mushrooms, read her the book of Revelation, and then had her write a screenplay. And right. And the screenplay is actually happening in the comic. Like you get to read like the first 40 pages of the screenplay are spread throughout the comic, and things that happen in the screenplay have mirror events that happen in the actual events of the movie. So the screenplay is starting to to become real, and it's that bleeding of fiction and reality. And he's doing that. Like, he's going back and forth, and that's what this represents.
That's awesome.
Just wanted to throw that out there. In my estimation, I've thought a lot about this movie over the last however long.
Yeah, you love this movie, so I understand. This guy, The Rock, is fantastic in this film. I don't know what it is. Whatever that it factor is, he's got it. And
he's gonna be big, man.
He's gonna be a big guy. I'm gonna watch out for him.
That guy's not going anywhere.
But yeah, it's odd to see him in a role like that. It just it's just not an action hero kind of guy. He's just this scared, cowardly guy. It plays well. I like how he shifts back and forth. I do like everything about he's kind, and apparently at the end I finally understood the dancing part where they were all dancing together. Like, oh yeah, we're just gonna dance now because we're gonna die. Yeah. So it's I like his character. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, and another thing too is in the screenplay, the character Jericho Kane is always drinking a refreshing Bud Light. Like, it's the cheesiest written screenplay. Like when you read it, he's full on Jericho Kane at that moment, man. So there you go. Joe, what's a character and performance you want to highlight?
I got to go with Wallace Shawn. The way, kind of going off on what you were talking about before and casting against type and all that, you kind of like Wallace Shawn. A lot of times, like obviously in The Princess Bride, even to an extent in Clueless, in The Incredibles as the boss, all that stuff. He plays these characters who like wish they were menacing but are not. And in this movie, he is menacing.
Yeah,
and that's he's both menacing while also the way, but like they crank it up to 11 in both areas. He looks like goofier than like ever, while also being deadlier than ever. You know, the whole scene with the taking the guy's hand off is just
Oh, since you take the pinky,
you know, and it was like, you know, didn't you read the contract? There's a 6-inch clause in that whole thing, and it was like, you know, and then it was like, have that hand bronzed and mounted on the, you know, it's great. Yeah, it's he, even though he's not in it a ton, like that performance and just knowing Wallace Shawn and knowing the kind of roles and just seeing exactly what they did really made that in particular stand out to me.
Yeah, he's really great. And, you know, this being an interpretation of the Book of Revelation, he's the Antichrist.
Yeah.
And he handles that very, very well. There's this whole thing in the book and a little bit in the can cut where he's like obsessed with, he's like a D&D nerd. And so everybody has these like D&D reference names. Like Kevin Smith is the dungeon master and they call him like, I don't remember what they call him the wizard or something like that. It's so freaking weird. And there's all these references to it. But you know, he's got, and Bai Ling is his wife. Like, like Serpent. And in the comics, she's referenced as being a sorceress.
Yeah.
She's referenced as being a sorceress, man. He's awesome in the film. I love that bit. Especially you didn't say whole hand. Oh, I love it. What about you, Brooks? What's the character you want to highlight?
I think Zoro was my favorite character.
Nice.
This movie. I love like how she's normal and then like just in a second she goes psycho. Like there's even like there's a scene where Amy Poehler's character is, you know, they're getting ready to do the sham wedding, and she's like, she says some smart ass thing to her, and she's like, the dream can turn into a nightmare on the turn of a dime, bitch.
Yeah. She's like, just because it's loud doesn't make it funny. Yeah. And then when Dream gets killed, she goes, that was both loud and funny.
She fucking hits dude with her car.
Yes. Oh my God.
And then like with when she's buying the blanks from Christopher Lambert's character.
That was great.
She just grabs his throat and just.
What'd you say? She's awesome. And she pulls off like, I never thought of her as like being like a tough, like stout, you know, chick, and she is, man. She like pulls it off in that movie and Christopher Lambert character is, by the way, is Death, okay, but he passes it on to Martin, and Martin then becomes Death, and that's why Martin wears just white and black because get it right, and he's on the pale horse, which is the ice cream truck. Like, this is so wild. This movie, it's so random. Great character, and I love the weird stuff with John Lovitz. In the can cut, they explain that John Lovitz loves her but can't understand why she doesn't love him. But the moment where he comes up and he like grabs her on the neck or whatever, and he's like, do you want to fuck or watch a movie? In the can cut, she goes, let's watch a fucking movie. It just cracks me up for some reason. Mike, what's character you want to highlight?
Man, y'all took a lot of the good ones already. So the Christopher, there's so many little minor characters too, like the Bai Ling character. It was just so funny when this movie came out of how big she was. Like, she was in a whole bunch of TV shows, and she was in a whole bunch of movies. So it was, and she's still doing a lot of stuff. But like at this time, she was like on her way up. The John Larroquette character, Small House, like that was a nice little surprise and just a little stoogey.
Him and Nora Dunn have a whole romantic tension thing that got cut out from the can cut, where at the end when they see the rocket coming towards them and they embrace and kiss, finally all their tension comes away. Remember, she fried his balls. I love that scene.
I can't remember her name right now to save my life. The Miranda Richardson, she played the Mrs. Frost. So
okay, the U.S. ident.
Yeah, watching her control everything.
That is Miranda Richardson. Yeah.
So just watching her control everything. So like, there's a bunch of little small characters in there that do really well. So I mean, it's also just kind of like Kevin Smith. You know, like I didn't realize that was Kevin Smith like the first time. It wasn't until like I rewatched it a few years ago. Like it's like, oh shit, that is Kevin Smith. So
it was the voice that gave it away for me. Like Like, I know that voice. Is that Kevin Smith? And I waited until the credits. I'm like, holy shit, that was Kevin Smith.
He was a big fan of Donnie Darko. I think he's listed as an executive producer or something on that movie. And he does one of the commentaries on the Blu-ray I have. So I know he was a big fan of Richard Kelly. So that's cool to see him. I also want to highlight Sarah Michelle Gellar. I think she's great as Krista now. I love that character, the porn star. She's trying to rebrand herself. She's got an energy drink. She's got that talk show. Like, that talk show is so freaking hilarious. Like, her and her friends.
I like to fuck hard.
Like, but violence, I just, that's one of the reasons why I won't do anal. And he's like, oh yeah. And then when she's like, if you have sex and you take the morning after pill and you cross the time zone, and her response where she just goes, I don't know.
That's genius.
Oh, it's just genius. Like, it's just, they play that, like, they play it so well because she's smart and dumb. And I feel like everybody in this movie is smart and dumb. Yeah, right. And I think she does a good job, because especially at the end, like, you feel a connection between her and Boxer. And I also love the moment where he's like, I've tried her energy drink. Her energy drink is really, really good. So let's talk about the style and structure of the film. Obviously all over the place, but I love it. It's got a tone about it. The way it's shot is absolutely beautiful to me. Like, I love it. The arrow transfer just looks gorgeous, like so much better than the previous Blu-ray. And I love how much is put in this movie. I love that I can go back to it. There's little bits, there's little characters, there's so much going on. You can read so much into this movie, even though it does kind of wear its theme on its sleeve. There's so many little tiny things, and you can really dive into it. I love the music. I love the way it's shot. I love all those performances. What do you think about the style and structure of the film, Jelani?
Man, this is a wild structure, man. This is too much. I'm sorry. It's too damn much. You can't do this to me in a movie. You can't. There's not a movie that is blocked the way it is. And on top of it, you start with like Act 4 of your 6th act, just like Star Wars. But you do it in such a way where I kind of know what's going on, but I don't. But then I've seen it multiple times, and I'm still like, I'm not sure where this movie is going. But I know about the revelation part of it. So I like how it's layered in. It does make sense that this is the end. And Justin Timberlake says it 3 times. So I like the way it's paced, even though it's all over the place. It's freaking all over the place. I don't know how to explain it past that. I can't. Sorry.
I love the dialogue, though. There's so many memorable lines, and Pilot Abilene gives so many of them. The Justin Timberlake character. I think I like how it's narrated. I usually don't like movies that are narrated. I think it's kind of essential because he gives a lot of exposition. But I really like he's playing against his character. There are moments where he's like, oh, that's Justin Timberlake. But even then, like, he does a whole dance number, but he doesn't participate in the dance number. And that's, to me, is a brilliant scene, because that scene, he's literally bleeding back in time to when he was injured, right? That's why he's bleeding from his shirt, and they're all nurses. They all look like Marilyn Monroe. If you notice, all of his friends behind him, the other soldiers, they're playing a shooting game. So like it's interesting because he's trying to do this thing. Richard Kelly says that he was trying to show the experience of a soldier through war and through everything that, say, the military will throw at soldiers to keep them distracted. Booze, games, sex. They kind of they want them to live this life of crazy excess. And that's also what happens when, you're in war and you don't know what's going on. And, that's another thing that's touched on here is like the draft is final in this movie. If you get drafted, you go. And so there's so many little touches. What do you think about the style and structure overall, Joe?
Yeah, overall, it's interesting. It's a lot of scenes feel like they're shot like music videos. Mm-hmm. Like I get that feeling from it. The opening narration with Justin Timberlake, I do think it went on like a little too long. I kind of wish they switched that up like a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of. It's weird because there will be some decent stretches of time where with the cinematography, where you'll get a few minutes straight of just like pretty generic, like over the shoulder, like back and forth kind of shooting. And that'll go on for like a while. And then it'll get like weird and stylistic again. And then it'll go back to being very like, we're sitting around over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Go to someone else over the shoulder. And it was just like, so that part's interesting. All like the lighting is great. Everything looks great.
It does. I will say that it is pretty to look at. Even the LSD scenes that they have, those look great when he wakes up. Oh man, yeah.
Everything looks good. The camera always feels like it's where it needs to be. Mm-hmm. There aren't any like shots in the movie really that I'm like, what are we doing? Like, like it doesn't fall into that pitfall of a lot of movies where it's like we see the car, we follow the car all the way to the driveway, we watch everyone get out of the car, we watch everyone walk to the door. Like there isn't stuff like that really. Like every scene manages to feel completely necessary, which is rare in film, honestly. But you have that, and the score is fantastic. Just all the music choices and everything. I know we're going to go more into that in another round, but all of that adds so much to it. Like it does feel like its own world. Like the world building is effective here. The only and this isn't a critique on this particular movie, but in this genre in general, I feel there's always this like I feel like it's often underestimated how long it takes to get to like a crazy dystopia. Like they always go like, oh, like a couple of things happen, and like a few years later we're in a horrible dystopia. And it's like, really, you need to start this way back and to it. Like to get to the point they're at in the movie. Is a gradual... You
need 2 movies. This needs 2 movies. We should have had the first part of this. You need to tell me this story first.
Initially, he wanted it told in 9 chapters.
Yeah.
Initially is what he wanted. Yeah.
No, I could see that, and it probably needs that. But but yeah, so I get that. It's weird because like you get in the beginning of the movie, you're kind of like front loaded almost too much information. There are a few things that are going on where I'm like, I understand a few of these things happening. Like you don't actually have to narrate that because I got it. And then by the end, they're just like, you figure it out. I'm not here to tell you what's going on. So that was an interesting progression, and I wonder how deliberate it was to go from like over explaining to being like, you're on your own, buddy. You figure it out.
It does go there. It goes there quick.
Yeah.
I think the over explaining is because he's trying to, in the can cut, they don't do that. They pretty much assume that you've read the book.
Yeah.
And then they just go. Right. And so
nobody read the book before this, right?
Dude, nobody read this book. Nobody even knows this thing exists, man. It was released by Dynamite and Graffiti Design. So yeah, there you go, right? But it's beautiful. Like it's an amazing book. The artwork is done by Brett Weldelli. I don't know who it is, but like I said, you can see the screenplays in it.
Yeah.
And I really like it. It really there is no confusion if you read this book and you start the movie. Like, you know everything. You know that the Baron is the bad guy.
And tell me that. That's what I'm saying.
They're trying to in the movie, but they do it real quick, and they do it sometimes in just the text scroll or something that's on the screens. And that's another thing that the obsession with screens. Everybody's getting their information from screens. When they're doing the press conference, there's not even press there. They're like talking to computers and stuff like that. And they actually had to rent a tank and put the Hustler logo on it. And Richard Kelly said that was one of the best moments of his career, was filming an actual tank they rented from the military with the Hustler logo going down the beach. Like just freaking awesome. Right. So it's Yeah, I think that's why it's so over-explaining at first. Is they're trying to deliver that information super quick, get you caught up and into it. And the other thing is in the book, so the Baron and this company, the Trier Corporation, they want you to think that they've found some kind of technology that creates perpetual motion. What they did in actuality was they found a substance that's underneath the mantle of the earth, and it's called fluid karma is what they call it, but it's the substance that wraps around the core of the planet like a serpent wrapping itself around an egg. And they're taking this directly from it, and it's causing the earth to slow its rotation. Like what happens in the script, that's actually happening, and it's messing with everybody. And that's why everybody's getting crazier and crazier as the movie's progressing. Like that's intentional, allegedly, is that everybody's supposed to be acting way abnormal because everything's getting ramped up because these is the last 3 days or whatever. But what do you think about it, Brooks? Story, structure, all that style.
I mean, this movie is just chock full of symbolism. Symbolism is like saturates every aspect of this movie. The characters, the settings, like it's just everywhere. Like from the neo-Marxist posters, like every setting, like the neo-Marxist hideout. There's all kinds of like weird shit all over the place. All these kinds of, and it also there's a lot of I guess the best way to describe it is like kind of manipulative patriotism type symbolism in this. Like it begins like with some kids filming like I guess like basically a good old American style barbecue in Texas. There's just this big party. Everybody's just and there's American flags everywhere, and the American flag just kind of it's in a lot of places in this movie, especially when the authority figures are talking, because that's kind of the main purpose of the flag, I think, in a lot of ways, is just to let you know, like we're the authorities. See the flag, You'll
also see the flag like melting in certain bits, like the picture that Boxer has behind his bed, like it's like the American flag kind of melting a little bit, like kind of grizzled, and then the Trier Corporation logo, which you see a lot, is the Electoral College map, with the blue and the red, and it's blending into purple, and it almost looks like America. It's the Electoral College map, is what it's supposed to be. So that's it. I mean, symbolism's all over the place, including if you notice, The Rock's got all this religious, these religious symbols tattooed on him.
On his belly.
Yeah. He's got like the Buddhist Om symbol. He's got I love how he delivers that. Like, what does this mean? And he's like, there's a path to end all suffering. You should take it. Like, it's just, and in the book, they explain that the idea is that when the end comes, the tattoo of the correct religion will bleed. And at the end, if you notice, it's the Jesus one that bleeds. And that's because end of the world's in LA. And he's representing like the American, that kind of thing or something like that. And also he's sacrificing himself. And he does the crucifix pose when he dies. He like spreads his arms open after he cries. Remember, he sheds his tear, and because that's the way it has to be. He's going to die, Yeah, but it had to end this way.
But
and
Martin kind of did the same thing at the end, also when he goes off the truck.
Well, he fulfilled his purpose, and so now he's gone because his purpose was to be the harbinger of death, and he carried on from the ice cream man, the arms dealer. And it's cool that Death is an arms dealer in an ice cream truck to me. And that's why when he gives him the rocket launcher, he says, "Good job, soldier. Good work, soldier." And he really does become the soldier. But symbolism's all over this movie. You're right, Brooks. What about you, Mike? Style, structure? What do you think?
Well, I was sticking to the symbolism in the Justin Timberlake, the arcade scene. That's the song that they use has Matt Pinfield did, I think, with soldiers with PTSD. And I want to say the Killers. That song is about Matt. It's kind of about Matt Pinfield doing this like I got sold, but I'm not a soldier, and it's him doing these work with soldiers that have PTSD and just using music behind it. It's somewhere in there. He had Pinfield's biography that came out a few years ago. It's has the same. The title is the same as the song. So like there's a lot of symbolism behind that, and it's like soldiers songs about helping soldiers with PST. I can't even say the word now.
PTSD.
PTSD. And then it's just like, these are soldiers dealing with PTSD of the.
Isn't the name of the
the
song
drug.
"All These Things That I Have Done" or something
Yeah.
like that?
Things that I've done.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so there's just so much symbolism behind everything. And you look at they quote the Jane's Addiction song 3 days. And then 3 days till the apocalypse.
Yeah.
The Buddhist symbol, it's part of the 3. So there's just constant 333 going throughout the film. They're talking about the flag and the symbolism. Pilot towards the end, they're all celebrating the street. When you see Janine Garofalo for that 1 second, the flag's behind them, and they're all celebrating like as the country celebrates. I think all
the world ends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is the way the world ends. That whole line. That's from a T.S. Eliot poem called "The Hollow Man."
Yeah, it's an
T.S.
inversion.
Eliot was famous for like really not liking democracy or America in general. And so, like, the last line is actually flipped because it's supposed to be, "This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but with a whimper."
Yeah.
And he flipped it around, not with a whimper, but with a bang.
Yeah, because he said that if this is the end, if it is the end times, it will happen in L.A. because this is the craziest, most apocalyptic place that I can think of, and that's one of the reasons why he did it. Because in L.A. they're not going to end it with a whimper, right? And they also it's the Frost poem, right? The Road Less Traveled or whatever. They mentioned that a lot too.
That's in the chapter 4, the road not taken, and then there's I want to say they also quote "In Miles to Go Before I Sleep" too, if I'm not mistaken. I thought I heard that, or I might just be confusing myself. What else was there?
There's that flag, by the way, right there. That's the art that he has behind him.
I like what Joe said about how the camera needs to be like the camera is there when it needs to be there, and you do have some basic shots, and then you do have the very artistic cinema style of the film, and you're pretty much spot on with that. Yeah. There's so much into it, and you look into the Neo-Marxism and Neo-Marxism, and when you break that philosophy down and then look at how it applies to the film with the apocalypse, it's pretty scary. Because it's essentially what we're dealing with right now. Just imagine Elon Musk is the Baron. Like, that's your modern day Baron right there in a way. So, and it's just like there's so many similarities of what's going on. And then like one of the things that when I was back in the bar days, one of the bartenders from a neighboring bar was kind of going on the rant about like, you're missing the point. Like all this racial segregation, that's what they're distracting you with. It's the class war that's coming. Beware the class war. And it's just like, and that's one of the things behind Neo-Marxism. It's just like, it's like that. Yeah. And it's pretty scary because when you look at like what's going on in today's news, they're always trying to separate us by something and divide us and put us at odds. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, get a vaccine, don't get the vaccine. You know, it's all, and it's just kind of like, no, once the lower class, takes over, then the upper class is screwed.
Is that Chihuahua?
And then that kind of takes place in the movie because like that group is rising up and destroys the rich elite in the blimp.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's kind of all over the place, really.
Yeah. Another thing explained in the book, and I know I keep saying this, it's the new bit, I guess. Well, in the book, they say they explain that the Baron is a descendant of Karl Marx, and he is he's the de facto leader of the neo-Marxists. And if you notice, even in their lair, there's a lot of posters of him in there, but at the same time, he's sabotaging both sides. He's playing both sides against each other, and he doesn't like the neo-Marxists because he thinks that they don't understand Marxism. That is a line in the movie where he's like, they wouldn't know anything about Karl Marx, blah, blah, blah. And I love that melodramatic scene too. And he's like, I know that you're in fact pregnant with Brant's baby, and I have the blood test to prove it.
How do you get the blood test?
That was great.
because he's that evil, bro.
Yeah, he's evil.
He's evil. And I love too, he still answers to his mom. His mom's actually the one in charge. It's really funny. Pretty funny to me. What about the music? I love the music. It's scored by Moby, but there are some original bits that Moby did, but most of it is kind of like B-side material that Moby had and other songs that Richard Kelly threw in there. I'm a big Moby fan. I love Michael Mann films. Michael Mann also uses a lot of Moby music. So I just think that it's so freaking cinematic. Brooks and Jelani have had many of night with me sharing medicinal remedies, listening to Moby, and have heard me talk about how much I love Moby. My favorite song would definitely be Memory Gospel, but I also love the way that they use other music, including Wave of Mutilation by the Pixies. They use the surf mix of it, which is a little bit slower, a little bit more creepy, and it's actually a title of one of the chapters, which I absolutely love, especially when we're talking about the wave of madness that's coming from, the fluid karma being sucked out of the earth and injected into soldiers' necks. There's a lot going on in this movie. What do you think about the music, Jelani?
I like it. I mean, I've always liked Moby too. He's got a mellow tone, and in this film, it serves its purpose. It is very cinematic. It makes a lot of sense. But I'm sorry, I love that killer song. I can't stop singing it. It's so potent, and that it's a music video, and he does like a random music video in the middle of this movie that makes no sense, and I'm like, what? And it's that song playing, and that song is amazing. It's amazeballs for what it's telling you, and we've already discussed the song, but I just wanted to throw that one back out, man. That's my hands down my favorite song in this film.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you think about the music in the film?
No, I like it a lot. I think it's one of the selling points of the film is the music, for me at least. Two of the songs that stand out to me in particular are also part of just the time for me was the mix they use of Wave of Mutilation in the soundtrack. I was getting really into the Pixies at the time. So, and I had not heard that mix of the song until the movie. So it was like one of those things, like, it's like, it just imprinted in my mind as this like revelation, of just like, oh my God, this version of this is great. Yeah. So that's always stuck with me. And then I got to see the Pixies play it that way live at least a couple of times. So
nice.
So yeah, so it was good. They played it on their like Doolittle 20th anniversary tour like 11 years ago.
Nice.
Or 12 years ago, whatever it is now. Yeah, life's a lot.
Just like this movie, right?
Yeah, and this is also how I first found out about, the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. I was unfamiliar at the time, and that song, how like really stuck with me. That whole bit, like the ending, I thought it was very, what was it? I know it made that pairing it with that song, it was very transfixed.
Yeah.
And, that's just, it was, created like a nice moment, and then made me go like, I gotta find out who the hell these guys are, because that like blew me away.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Hell yeah. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about the music?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love this music, because we were big into Moby back in the day. So much so that like back in the day when Robbie got into an artist, he would like delve into their entire discography pretty much. So like Moby, we didn't just know like the popular Moby stuff. Like Moby made a punk album that's actually really good called Animal Rights.
It's a great album.
To listen to that too.
Wow.
But yeah, and like it definitely has. Moby is good on soundtracks. Like you can't go wrong. And it has that signature. He has that signature that sound like. But I think my favorite song actually was the one that played during the credits. I think it was Blur. That
Tender.
Yeah.
Tender. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that song.
You know me, I'm a big Blur.
A good way to wrap up the movie.
Yeah, because remember, the movie does end with the world ending, but the promise is that there's a new Jerusalem, because Roland Taverner or Ronald Taverner is a pimp. Pimps don't commit suicide, and it's about the new Jerusalem, right? It's all kinds of craziness. What do you think about the music, Mike? You're a music guy.
Unmute my mic. Well, it's one of those. It was just what Joe said about Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. I always thought that was kind of funny, and it was just kind of like. And now, because I just remember them at that time being just kind of up and coming and growing, and it's one of those like. I don't know. It's just kind of. When you go back and listen to it, it's just kind of like that's a really odd choice for that to be playing. We talked about the Killer song. I like the use of the Planet Telex by the Radiohead song.
Nice.
When they're pulling out the ATM, everything's broken. Everyone is broken. Everything is broken, and it's just the world's ending. It's like we're gonna take the ATM to Mexico. Like
we're gonna take the ATM.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's like it's
ATM.
The song fits, and Animal Rights was kind of the Moby album. Animal Rights was kind of huge because that's where he did the Mission of Burma cover of That's When I Reach for My Revolver.
Yeah.
So like that Animal Rights actually was kind of a big album for him.
It was a decent album for him, but it wasn't what Play was. I'll tell you.
No.
Not in the slightest.
I don't remember hearing anything from Animal Rights on the radio.
That's When I Reach for My Revolver was played a lot from that album. That's on the radio. Back the Rocket played it and the Buzz played it.
The Rocket wasn't even around. I don't even know what you're talking about right now, bro. You mean KDF? But bro, whatever. That's a weird stretch, Mike. I don't know what you're doing right now.
It was KDF or the Buzz. I can't remember.
Did you used to get paid in Moby CDs at the bar?
Yes, I did. and Moby Bucks.
He always had that edge to him too. Even in Everything Is Wrong, he's got songs like Someone to Love's from Animal Rights, but he's got songs. All that I want is to. Anyway, that's probably from Animal Rights too.
But then again,
anyway, it's also in Everything Is Wrong, but also like in Animal Rights, there's a mix though. Like he'll go from those like harder songs to those really slow, cinematic, just kind of free flowing, synthesized strings kind of thing. And I'm a big Moby fan.
Well, if you go back, like it's very reminiscent of I Like to Score, some of the slow mellow stuff.
Well, because that's what that is. That's a collection of songs of his that were used in scores.
Right. But
a lot of it being Heat, like his version of New Dawn Fades, the Joy Division song, was used in Heat fantastically. So I think Moby is a fantastic musician. Another song I really want to point out because it's probably one of the catchier songs in the song is "Teen Horniness Is Not a Crime." I absolutely love that song.
Said it was.
I never said it was. I love that. He's like, I never said it was. Speaking of I never said it was, what is this movie about? It's about a lot. Jelani, what is this movie saying to you?
God. Don't go out in the desert.
Don't travel through a time rift?
Don't travel to a time rift at all.
Oh, by the way, and if you haven't seen the movie, there's this time rift that opens up because of the fluid karma release
so
as well.
much in this movie. How the hell am I going to explain what this movie is to me? I mean, it speaks a lot to, I guess, insanity, but all at once. Like, everyone is crazy. Everyone has a weird motivation in this movie. It starts off so weird. It gets to a point where you're just like, why are these people motivated to do this? What is, neo-Marxists, the Republicans, the freaking, the everything, the army? It's insane. And I'm like, oh God, yeah. So yeah, I just say don't go into a time rift.
Right. Another thing in the book, if you've read the book, when the movie starts, you know what the corpse is. You already know that it's the other boxer Centauros.
Yeah.
You already knew that. Isn't that wild? Because like in the movie, they act like that's the reveal at the end. So oh yeah, and it's your body, huh? Oh, the time portal opened up, but that's also a reference to the Native American.
And you could have just showed me the time portal. At least if you're gonna do something like that, if you're gonna have like an exposition, I gotta read the book to get. How the hell you don't show me the time rift with the money you got for special effects? You better get
They
to
didn't
dancing.
have much money for special effects. In fact, they didn't have many of the special effects even there when they showed the can cut. Like it's a lot
Do
of
you
it's
know how
not
they
there.
could just do camera work to make it look like
Dude,
you
they
went through a
spent
time
most of
where-
that money on that damn Mega Zeppelin. I guarantee, like that's what,
Apparently.
and you watch it today and you're like, well, that looks like a video game.
Yeah, it
But
does.
you know, and it didn't look that good at the time either. But there wasn't a lot of financial backing behind this movie.
Yeah.
It was kind of difficult for them to make. I think they spent most of their money on, I guess I don't know, maybe the cast, but they
The
weren't
cast?
necessarily like the biggest money drawers at the time.
Well,
Anyway.
you also told us a story about the arcade scene of how it's like you've got 6 hours to shoot this.
Yeah, they
And
did
if
this.
you-
They were always like worried that like the musical number, real quick, but the musical number, the producer didn't understand it, didn't want it in there, and Kelly was like, I gotta have it. He's like, well, we only have this arcade for this many days, so you got 4 hours on this day when I'm setting up this other shot, and he did it, and that's what Richard Kelly in the special features, he has this newer interview in there, and he says that's what he did throughout that whole process was, and they filmed it all in 27 days.
Wow.
27
The
days.
whole
This
movie
is
is
an
27.
incredibly ambitious movie with a lot of moving parts, and he did it in 27 days because he always exceeded expectations on schedule. Joe, what's this movie trying to say to you?
I feel like the stuff that really stuck with me was mostly about like the celebrities and whatnot. That culture. It felt like the movie was trying to talk about priorities and how we're all kind of chasing after the wrong things, and a lot of us are clinging on to just bullshit that doesn't matter, like Sarah Michelle Gellar's character.
Yeah.
And
I'd try
and
that energy drink. I would.
but yeah, you had stuff like that, and you had the like neo-Marxists who also like a lot of the people that were in the extremes were also like missing the point of and their priorities weren't there, or they didn't have the right priorities, and I feel like this movie is trying to say something about how we need to work on our priorities and what actually matters in life, because life can be taken from you at the drop of a hat. And instead of getting obsessed about celebrity and cultivating a personality and these kind of things for the approval of people that don't necessarily matter in your life, you should look in and try to do something that actually matters.
Nice. Yeah, that's totally there, 100%, because everybody is getting distracted by their own thing. And I mean, in 2005, when he wrote this film, it wasn't like it is today, with everybody being able to jump on YouTube or on Instagram and become, socially famous and things like that, and how much status we put to that. And it's a wild game to play, right? It really is.
Yeah, a lot of us have dozens of fans.
Yeah, dozens of them.
Dozens, and it goes to, for some people, it goes to their head. And it's really something.
It does. Speaking of, seriously, his dozens of fans have really gone to his head. Brooks, what's this movie trying to say?
First, how dare you?
Yeah. Well, everybody's screaming for this T-shirt, young man. So you just tell me what you think.
I think this movie, a lot of this, like a big theme of this movie is how we as Americans view soldiers, because like we like to glorify soldiers, we like to wave the flag and like, salute and we're so proud of you. But at the same time, we're fine with sending them like out to die, basically. Like they're disposable, like,
They're experimenting on
as much as respect as we pay them, like we don't have a problem just keep sending them over to foreign lands to basically just die or come back like traumatized. I think that ties in a lot to the kind of the manipulative patriotism thing,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, sure, like the war is bad, but the soldiers aren't bad, right? You don't hate the soldiers. And that's kind of like, that's how a lot of, our authority figures kind of tend to get away with doing these kind of like, basically not really showing as much respect for the lives of soldiers as I think that they really should.
Yeah,
They kind of
well
just give
put.
it lip service, wave a flag, see like, oh, we're so proud of your service, like your heroes and all that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like they don't really mean it.
In those days, it was put a yellow ribbon on magnet on your car.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that? Everybody did that shit, man. And I remember after 9/11, like counting all the flags I would see everywhere. And there were people on the side of the road selling flags. Like, it's so crazy, man. The speculators come out, no matter what, right?
We'll get my flag slabbed.
Well put, Brooks. What about you, Mike? What's this movie trying to say?
Well, like one of the things that Brooks commented, like just made about the soldiers, it's funny is that when you see somebody in uniform, and that's when they was like, "Hey, thank you for your service. We're proud of you and whatnot." But as soon as they took that uniform off, like we treat them like shit, and it sucks because like we know a couple of those guys and like the way that they look and their attitude about everything. But it's just kind of like you put them in a uniform, people are like, "Oh, we really thank you," but when you look at them, it's just like, what are these thugs doing? And it's just kind of like, well, like if you knew what they were, like you would thank them if you saw who they really were. But like it's just that appearance of everything. Sometimes you just have to embrace the chaos of everything and just the world's fucking ending and just go with it.
Yeah, right.
So just get on the street and dance and have fun and just like it's let it all burn.
What's the car's fault?
I mean, would you
just let it all burn? Mike, just let it all burn. We've gone too far. Just let it burn.
It's just the end of the world. Like,
gentle nihilism.
Would you participate in the rioting? Like, what would you do when it's the world's ending? What would you do? Like,
I would dance with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Mandy Moore. That's what I would do.
Yep, that was a sweet dance.
And then I would deliver some really crazy delivery. And I swear to God. I freaking love it. This movie's about everything you guys said, like 100%. And it's a criticism of the surveillance state that was allowed by the paranoia and xenophobia that came post 9/11. It's a criticism on political extremism on all sides. It's a criticism on celebrity culture and a fixation that we have with that. But this movie has a heart. And I think that it's a relatively very simple thread that carries it all the way through. And I think it's a story about forgiveness, forgiving yourself. And that, to me, is the main thorough of the entire film. The red thread, if you will, that ties it all together is Ronald Rowland's journey to forgive himself. He doesn't remember what he's done at first, but you definitely get the sense of melancholy from him throughout the entire movie. And then the twin, by the way, just has passed out half the damn movie. You got to feel bad for him, right? But it's about forgiving. I feel like it's about that. It's about the forgiveness. And even at the end of the world, the craziness that's around you, it doesn't mean that you don't deserve the time to forgive yourself. And maybe if you do, you birth the new Jerusalem, the new way, the new life, a rebirth, if you will. This movie is about all the crazy stuff that's going to lead to the end of the world. But it's also about what will bring us to the new world, and that's forgiveness.
Oh,
that's what we think. I think the movie's about a lot more than that, too, though. It's about a lot, y'all. This movie is... Richard Kelly probably couldn't tell you what this movie's about in less than 15 minutes, right? You know what I'm saying? So now it's time to get to the ratings. And you out there in the chat, if you have... See, I love Bobby is awesome. Put some Moby on and let it burn. I love it. That's great. So out of 5 possible you digs, what you out there in the chat give Southland Tales? And Jelani, what do you give it?
I think I'm going to give this one a 3.5. I'm going to watch it again. I know I'll see more things now that we discussed in detail. This has been awesome, by the way. By the way, the most in-depth movie review we've had for something like this, as many layers as there are. So I give it a 3.5. I mean, I'll watch it again. It's fine. It's a good watch, and the fact that we talked about it this much makes me intrigued to watch it again.
Hell yeah. I like that. 3.5 from Jelani. What about you, Joe?
I think I give it a 4 out of 5. I've liked it for a long time. You know, if there was no, like, if I wasn't grading someone on a curve, because you are taking into account the fact that, like you said, it was filmed in 27 days. It was, they couldn't get the funding they wanted. There were a lot of obstacles. This movie really, no sane person would have pursued this movie after the amount of obstacles that were in the way. So the fact that it was rushed, and it's still, despite what some people could say or take away from the movie, it is a coherent film. I think it, I give it that, 4 out of 5. I think it deserves that.
Very respectable. Very, very much so. What about you, Brooks?
Yeah, I'd give this one a 4 too. Like, I do like this movie, but this is not a movie I could just watch whenever. I would definitely have to be in the mood to watch this movie, and I'd probably have to watch it twice because of the weird thing where I can't get it the first time I watch it for some reason. But I think it's a really good movie. It has a lot to say.
Yeah,
and it's interesting, if nothing else.
Nice, nice. What about you, Mike?
I'll give it a 4. It definitely does have some rewatchability because of the of just how bizarre it is. Like you learn something new every time you watch it, and if you really want to break down each little thing, you can just go so far into it. I really like everybody's role. You have some characters, the Sean William Scott, the what's her face, the Zora. Sherry O'Terry, like you did not expecting that. It's always great to see Christopher Lambert in a movie. So, but yeah. So other than that, it's a fun movie that makes you think. So I'm always down for that.
Nice. My rating is skewed because I love the film so much. I'm giving it 5. I'm giving it 5. You digs. Perfect score because I could watch this movie anytime. Like, I adore it. I've read the book so many times. My girlfriend asked me today, she goes, how many times have you seen it? And I was like, countless. Like, I watched this movie all the damn time. Like, I remember when the Blu-ray came out, because it was only on DVD and there's like no extra features, but then the Blu-ray came out and it had an audio commentary by Richard Kelly. And I lost my mind. So you can imagine how I felt when this came out. So I'm giving it a perfect score because to me, it's one of my favorite movies. My birthday's on Monday. It's my pick this week. That's why I picked it, because I just adore this film. I applaud the ambition. I love that Richard Kelly has never played ball with Hollywood. Do you know what I'm saying? And he's not made a whole lot of material, but the 3 films that he's done, I really like all 3 of them a lot. The other one that most people don't talk about is The Box. Which I like too, an adaptation of a Twilight Zone episode. So this movie has got a lot of Philip K. Dick references in it. It's got that kind of vibe and feel. He says it's a blending of the styles of Philip K. Dick and Andy Warhol. And I vibe on that. I feel that. I don't think there will ever be a movie like this. And I hope that one day he can expand it, but I'm happy with the way it is. So 5 from me. 3.5 from Jelani, 4 from the rest, for a PCP average of 4.0, 69 dudes. Let's take a look at the chat. We got two of them here. Bobby says 4.5, you digs. And Brother Joe says 4, you digs. Can't wait to watch it. Okay. We appreciate that. Well, that was our look at Southland Tales. Thank you so much. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back for PCP Back Chat, a little bit of show and tell and all that kind of jazz. We really, really do appreciate you being here. So station everybody. And remember, this is the way the world ends.
What up?
Hey.
What's up? Welcome back, everybody. I once again forgot to plug our upcoming show, so please allow me the time to do this right now. Join us tomorrow night on Dylan's Horror Show. There's a link down below. It's my birthday weekend, so guess what? We're doing my pick, and we're doing Argento, the Three Mothers trilogy.
Nice.
To be exact, we're doing Suspiria, Inferno, and Mother of Tears. And I'm very, very excited. Next week, Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Time, Dan Waters is joining us on the show. He's the writer of some of my favorite comics today, including The Picture of Everything Else and Homesick Pilot. So I'm very excited to have Dan join us on the show. That will make 3 out of 4 of the White Noise crew. And next week is Brooks's pick. And next week on PCP Movie Night, we're covering Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee film. John Saxon's in it. Guess what? John Saxon's in a Dario Argento film, Tenebrae. So there you go. He's also in a little-known movie called Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
No.
But whatever. So that's what's coming up here. And did anybody notice Eli Roth in Southland Tales?
Yes.
He's got a cameo.
He got
He's the guy,
shot in the toilet.
he's the neo-Marxist that gets shot in the toilet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I watch the movie, I forget about that.
I
I'm
was
like,
that's Eli Roth.
we just did the Eli Roth show last week on Dylan's channel. So like, that was wild. That was wild. Brooks, by the way, I got this in your box for you, man. So,
Awesome.
look, Joe, it's here. It's physical. It's in my hand. What a great book. Good job, Joe.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
freaking
you.
done, man.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you making that book. That's an easy sale. In my review, I don't know if you watched it, but in my review, I said it was, I thought, the best debut issue I've ever read from Mad Cave.
Wow. Right. Yeah.
So it unseated Stargazer.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
I know, Joe. And that's just not because I know you. I was like, I just had Joe on this channel so many times. People are going to think that I'm like, this is nepotism. Like I'm just picking his book just because. No, this book is freaking awesome. And people at the shop are really, really liking it. So
I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah.
good. So what are you guys up to? There's no Falcon or Winter Soldier to talk about. There's
No Invincible either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't into Invincible though, but I don't know. Maybe I'd need to give it another shot. I felt like each episode was too long, but I've only watched the first 2.
It was
It's
fine.
pretty good though.
I'm not
You
down
know
for
what?
50-minute animated shows.
I watched the first 2 and then waited a while, and then I went back and caught up, and it gets better. I
gets
think.
better.
But
Okay, that's cool. I'll check it
I
out.
watched all of them. The last episode is the most shocking, but
mhm.
it's something that's already happened. I feel bad I haven't read this book though.
Yeah.
I'm mad. I kicked myself for years now because I didn't read Invincible.
Well, they're
but-
flying off the shelves
Just-
now, man. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
You must have really strong
Just
legs
opportunity.
kicking yourself for years like that.
Kicking them. I got a big ass.
I saw that they're making Jupiter.
Jupiter's Legacy.
Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah,
Part
that
one.
now.
Yeah. I watched the first few episodes. It's okay. The production value needs some help.
Oh, is it already out?
Oh
It's already
no!
came out
today.
today.
Oh, damn, really?
I watched the first 3 episodes.
See, I read that book because I'm a big Frank Quitely fan, but I'm kind of over Mark Millar. Like, not saying that, like, I mean, I still love a lot of his stuff, but, like, I don't know, man. Like,
Are you still mad at Authority?
no, it's not that. I don't know how to describe it, man.
Did you get burned out by Kick Ass?
Well, it was kick ass.
I don't know, man. I just think I get tired of writers that I think are overly cynical. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I don't know. If
else
that's,
is cynical.
yeah, but he does it in a way that I really appreciate because he has these wild sci-fi concepts. You know what I'm saying? Like the futurism.
Brian
I don't know.
Azzarello.
You don't
Mark
wanna go
Millar-
Frank Miller cynical.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not that I don't know how to describe it, man. Mark Millar's got this. There's something about everything I've ever read from him that at the same time, even if I like it, I go, here's something like I really like Huck because that was different than most other Mark Millar books I had read. You know, I really liked Prodigy. I don't know.
I like Prodigy.
I don't know.
Really.
Mark Millar is easy for me
Yeah.
to just dismiss at a certain point. Like if I get to a point and I'm like, I'll just, if I need to cut some books, I'll cut a Mark Millar book. I don't know. That's just
Yeah.
Okay. You got a
That being
preference?
said, I love his Ultimates run. You know, like
Yeah.
the first two.
The first one,
But,
yeah.
I mean, I think he's all
First one's
right.
for me.
I don't know. I don't know. He just kind of goes to the same tricks over and over. For me, I don't know.
One trick pony ish.
No, I wouldn't say he's a one-trick pony. I think he's a. I don't know, Joe. What do you think?
I
Dang.
liked what was it, Starlight, that like Buck Rogers kind of riff he did. That one I really liked. I like some of his Big Two stuff. You know, like Superman Red Sun's fine. You know, it's tough. Like it's like how can you not be overrated when people talk about you in that sort of way, where it's just people are like, oh my god, you know, it's Mark Miller. But you know, I also really liked his run on The Authority.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah.
I like the first bit of it. I just don't like the ending, but he didn't like finish the ending, right? And like allegedly like Grant ghost wrote those last couple issues or something like that. And I don't know.
Well,
and wasn't he the one that started talking shit about Grant? Like,
I don't know the entire story. The big takeaway from that is that Frank Quitely is the only one that's been able to work with both of them since. Like,
wow,
yeah,
damn,
it's true.
It's like
that's a shame.
Here's the thing, though. I get it. It's it's a personal thing between those two. I don't want to jump in and make any sort of wild accusations on it, because I mean I'm gonna pick Grant 10 times out of 10 in terms of like if I had to pick a book between like Grant or Mark.
Yeah,
but
I agree with that.
Yeah, but like that said, you know, they didn't start writing a lot together. Grant kind of brought Mark in as like someone to co-write things with, and then like kind of, you know, took Mark under as like a protege in a way, you know, or someone not too far behind him to really show him the ropes and get him in the business. And you can see how that situation can make things get very ugly very quickly. If you're bringing someone up and then, you know, maybe they get to a certain point and they're like, okay, cool, I'm doing my own thing now, or, you know, I don't have to back you up, or so, you know, like there's so many things that can happen that can just get it to go, you know, kaput. Just like Dan Abbott and Andy Lanning like had their falling out.
Yep, they sure did. And I think that they worked really well together. You know, Grant and Mark together, I mean, they were interesting stuff. The Aztec run that Stefan mentions is my favorite. Like, I love that Aztec run. It's a great run to read along with the JLA, right? Because otherwise you're like, who the hell is this Aztec kid? You know, you're like completely lost. But you know, they did a couple of Swamp Thing issues together. They did the Flash. They did the Flash together, right? And
a little bit,
yeah. So it's just crazy. I mean, here's the thing. Mark does these stories. This is what he does. This is what he does. This is how he makes a lot of success nowadays. And he goes, okay, what's a really popular movie? Big is a very popular, timeless movie. What if I mix that with superheroes?
Sure.
Hey, Ocean's 11, heist films. What if I mix that with superheroes? Huh? Forrest Gump. What if I took Forrest Gump and mixed it with superheroes? And I feel like it's just kind of like, give me something stretchy, something different, something more. And with a lot of these things like Jupiter's Legacy, it's like, or Invincible, the whole idea is to see like, these are superheroes, but we're going to do it a little bit more violent and realistic, right? You know? And
Ultimates was like that too, really.
Ultimates was like that too, but that was Marvel, and it was different because it was like seeing the Marvel. We didn't have the Avengers movie yet, so that was the closest we had to a cinematic Avengers, I think, at that time, was reading the Ultimates, right? And at the same time, Brooks, we're in our early 20s, all right? So I understand people in their early 20s or just getting into comics or superhero fiction, watching Invincible and being like, whoa, bro, and their minds are blown, or watching The Boys. For us, this is old hat. Like, I was watching a show earlier where people were talking about the Heroes Reborn book, and they were like, I don't like these new characters. They're just like the Justice League. And I'm like, new characters? The Squadron Supreme have been around for like 40, 50 years. What are we?
I really liked Heroes Reborn.
They're supposed to be the Justice League. That's the whole purpose. Have you never read the book? Did you not watch mine and Jelani's comics revisited on Squadron Supreme?
Awesome.
That's like the original authority, bro.
Man, it's
yeah,
awesome.
man. Come on.
It's pretty sick.
Anyway, some people aren't as jaded as I am, I guess, with just seeing superheroes done in a different. I am ready to just see them done more like superheroes, like mythological characters that we can look up to and inspire to be. You know, like that's refreshing to me nowadays. So like seeing Omni-Man or whatever like kill the Justice League doesn't do anything for me because I've read all that stuff. You know, so that's how I feel about Mark's work, I guess.
Well, I guess you look at the compare and contrast between Old Man Logan, his Fantastic Four in 1985, that little trilogy that he put together.
Well, I love his Fantastic Four run. I love that and the Ultimate Fantastic Four run. And I do like Old Man Logan, but at the same time, like really Hulk raped She-Hulk and had a bunch of Hulk babies. Like that's kind of like,
but it's kind of like, but
that's such a Mark Miller thing to do, though. It's just something as dumb as that. Like that's so. But like whenever he wants to make a guy bad, you know, here's the bad guy, so we're gonna have him rape and behead someone. Like it's like it just does the same things.
I'm saying, like in 1980, it's the
it's gritty.
But like he does that Mark Millar kind of just same old bullshit in Old Man Logan, but then in 1985, it's this complex doom story. So it's just kind of like best of both, like and stuff like that. It's best of both worlds because all three of those books tie in together.
Yeah.
So he works with some great artists, I'll tell you that. And I did like the first Kick-Ass, but I didn't like the ones after that as much. I mean, all right, you got Hit Girl. She says she's vulgar. I get it. Like, let's move beyond that. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, well, Kick-Ass felt like a one and like that was the story. You know, it felt like that was the story, and then it was really popular. So it was like, oh, all right, we'll do more of this then. Like,
yeah, I have been liking the new one, the new Kick-Ass that Steve Niles has been doing. I think that's interesting
because turning them in crossover too.
Oh yeah, that was cool. That was cool. What do you think about Mark Miller, Brooks?
Well, you know, Mark Miller is he's kind of suffered the same fate for me as Frank Miller, in that, like, you know, a lot of the stuff that I liked him for back when I was younger and reading comics. Now I look at it and kind of roll my eyes at. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember when the Ultimates, I was like, oh man, the Ultimates is like the best thing ever. Yeah. Now I read it, I'm like, it's just the Avengers, but they're all fucking pricks.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I'm not saying it's still kind of good, but not as good.
They were trying to do an adult tone. He was trying to do an adult tone for the Avengers.
He kind of gets like a little overly cynical, I think. Mm-hmm. Which kind of ruins a lot, especially with superheroes, because superheroes are supposed to be, you know, like the best of us, you know, and he just keeps like taking a piss on them, and it's like, come on, man.
Well, yeah, it's weird because, like, when did adult content mean like unlikable characters?
It's like, do we have to have like Wanda and Pietro being like weird incestuous, having a weird incestuous thing, like?
But that's so edgy, Brooks. No one would do that.
There's someone listening to this now, though, going like, yes, they did. Let's.
We needed it. We needed more incest in our books.
I'll tell you this. He doesn't take a piss on superheroes as much as, say, Garth Ennis, because Mark Miller
taking a piss on superheroes.
Yeah. Mark has done some really good superhero work. He's done some
for sure.
He's done some great Superman stories and Superman adventures, and even scripting the Stuart Amonin stuff on Action Comics. So, yeah. Anyway, did y'all have a good day today?
Yeah, it was fun. Did you have a good lunch?
I saw you today, Mike. I went to
Did you have a good lunch?
This is the first time I've seen my siblings and my stepdad since before COVID-19 was a thing that we were paying attention to.
God.
So it's been over a year. So today I actually got to hang out with them. We went to a Chinese buffet.
Nice.
Got to
Which
eat a
one?
buffet. I had to 88. I had to take my
Nice.
temperature on the way in, which was cool. I felt safe and secure there. Everybody wore their mask at the buffet. And I was curious as how that was going to work, a buffet in this new day and age. And obviously, we're in Alabama,
figured it
Joe,
out.
so I'm sure the rules are a bit more lax down here because most people are just like, COVID's fake. But you had to sanitize every time you went to the buffet or whatever. But I enjoyed it, man. I loved having some nice, cheap, gluttonous Chinese food today. And I love buffet sushi because that means I get as much wasabi as I want.
Nice.
Yep. And it's made well there. I ate there last night.
But yeah, on the way in, there was
Wasabi.
I get out of the car and I just look and there's Mike. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm going to the Asian supermarket. I was like, oh, okay. Awesome. I haven't gone to that one. Did you get something cool there, Mike?
I just got some of the spicy ramen.
It smells bad when you first walk in, doesn't it, though?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that
But
fish, I think.
It's
the
a fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of a few other things that I was interested in getting, but I just didn't. I was driving. It's not some stuff you can keep in the car while you drive around and do errands. So it was just one of those like I'll come back to it.
You don't want to get
And-
live shrimp and then keep them in your car when you're running errands.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then apparently there was a bunch of it's that one in Madison that I was looking for because it's the one that has all the vegetarian and vegan options. So that's the
One near me has a lot of those too.
So I went to so I just went to the wrong one. So it was just like, is it this one? I can't remember if it's this one or the one in Madison. So I just went to that one, and I went to a European market today. Picked up a few things. So it's just International Market Day for me.
Did you get the 2-time spicy ramen?
The third, I got 2 different types of spicy, but they're not the 2 times. And then the third international market that I went to, it's over there off of Jordan and Bob Wallace. They had the 2-time spicy. But this is like, I've already got like 12 things of ramen to eat. I'm not going to buy 6 more.
Well,
So,
I'll bring you one tomorrow because you got to try it because it is freaking hot.
sweet.
Yeah,
I'll bring you
okay.
this wide potato noodle when I got the
Okay,
thing.
yeah, let's trade ramen.
So,
Let's have a swap meet, a ramen swap meet. Joe, do you
One of
like
the-
spicy food?
I love spicy food.
Ooh, I bet there's lots of spicy food in New York, right?
Oh yeah. No, I love whatever I got my hands on. The Thai food, Indian food. There's some great places not too far down the road from here. Also, just putting Frank's hot sauce on everything.
Frank.
That's true though.
It's like
Yeah.
novice level, Joe. Come on. Who you trying to impress here, bro?
I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm just like
He's like, didn't you understand anything about Southland Tales? Stop trying to impress me.
well, you get the cheap, just the giant thing, and then you put it on everything. It's great.
Oh,
But,
that Frank's Red Hot, that Frank sauce that's the best like table hot sauce out there. Like when I see people use Tabasco, I cringe. You know what I'm saying?
It's
I'm
too
like,
watery,
that's
vinegary.
vinegar. It's just
vinegar.
vinegar.
It is just vinegar. It's too,
Yeah,
it's too
absolutely.
strong.
Cappuccino's pretty good.
But I gotta put
like
it on like my
Louisiana.
eggs and all
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
but you keep the sriracha for when you're
Mhm.
having noodles or something like that. You always have to have that stuff because a lot of times things aren't hot enough,
True.
and
It's
you
not
gotta
seasoned properly.
you gotta go
you
in.
gotta do something to it.
Yeah.
You got a doctor.
Yeah. Whenever I go to anybody's family gathering and there's potato salad, I better have me some Last Dab with me because most people don't know how to make potato salad, right,
They
Jelani?
don't. That is absolutely correct. Man, I had some potato salad once that tastes like paper.
Mhm.
And I was like, how did you make this bland ass potato salad?
They're like
I
with
wa-
potatoes and mayonnaise
Yeah, that's it.
and
Cool
not
off.
much else.
Yeah. You throw some
We need-
raisins in there.
We need to take Jelani to the Sunflower Cafe and let him have some of that potato salad.
Sunflower
Is it
Cafe
awesome?
is a vegan vegetarian like deli in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Bruh, that
It's
is
deli.
The,
they
Okay.
have
I believe it.
I cannot believe that that's a vegan potato salad. I cannot believe
How the hell do you make
that
a
that
vegan
is vegan
potato
potato
salad?
salad. I cannot believe what
What
they
is the
got vegan-
mayonnaise?
Dude, they
Is it
do all
avocados?
kinds of fake stuff. They do all kinds of fake stuff. I don't know. Maybe they use like coconut milk or something. I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but they do it, and
It's
they
really
could be
good.
lying. They could be lying to me. It could be filled with like pork fat. I don't care. I'm just happy
Nah,
that
they
it
did
tastes
that.
delicious. It's delicious.
You can
It's
put
with the
pork
like.
fat
It's,
in it?
if I have time, like that's the one place that I go when I'm in Nashville. It's like, oh, if I got time to eat, I'm going to Sunfire Cafe. Just
Joe,
for
where
the
were you
potato
born?
salad.
Where were you born, Joe?
I was born on Long Island.
So, do you even know what potato salad is?
I've heard of it, but no, I mean I've had some good potato salad. You go to you go to a nice deli, there's some great
deli's
Jewish, some great Jewish delis here that have really good potato salad.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, I mean sometimes you go to some like gathering, and there's like. I don't know. There's like string beans and shit in the potato salad. You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah, you put extra shit. You don't. It can be carrots. It can be pickles. You can put
Pickles, bro.
pickles.
Boiled eggs.
Pickled relish, man.
Yep,
Not the sweet one. Not
eggs.
the sweet kind, man.
Yeah.
I don't like eggs in my potato salad. My family
I
does
love
that,
eggs
but I'm
in
not a
potato salad.
fan.
But it's
It's okay.
okay. I like yellow potato salad. I like red skin potato salad. Ooh, Publix makes a good potato salad, like a good one. Oh, god dang! I wish I got hit their recipe.
More mustard and mayonnaise. I'm more mustard. Like
Yeah.
I put way more mustard than mayonnaise in my potato salad.
That makes sense. You gotta have it yellow. Yellow
Yeah.
makes it real.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and use different kinds of potatoes. That's the
Yeah.
thing too. That's another secret. Use different. Like if you make chili, don't just use one kind of bean. What's wrong with
Right.
you? You know what I'm
Mix
saying?
them.
If you're throwing everything into a pot or into a bowl to
Full
stir it
bean.
around, get a bunch of different kinds of textures. You
Mm-hmm.
know, get some different colors in there. I don't like potato salad that just looks one color because they usually
Yeah.
look like
It's got to be
puke or
fiesta. but all the stuff has to go together. Everything in the potato salad must taste like it's supposed to be there.
oh yeah.
You're not supposed to have like mangoes in potato salad. It's just no. Pass.
Or as we like to say, raisins. From
Yeah, exactly. You don't need any of that. You don't need to make it sweet. I don't think potato salad should ever be sweet. And I tried a sweet potato salad. I was like, what is this? It tricks you. Potatoes and sugar shouldn't go together in certain aspects. I don't know what it is. It's just no. But everything else, try it. You never know.
Here we go, talking about food again.
Yeah, we went from eggs to potato salad. Why
Hey,
not?
Joe, have you been to Dinosaurs Barbecue at all?
I
In
have been
Brooklyn?
to Dinosaurs Barbecue. Yeah.
I went there when I was in Syracuse. It's pretty. I don't know how the one is in the New York City. I know they got one in Harlem and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But the one in Syracuse was really good. It reminded me. It's very similar to some of the Alabama / Texas barbecue they do down here. So
Yeah.
They-
I went
they-
to
they
the
have
one
some
in
good
Syracuse once too.
My favorite place in Syracuse is Shifty's. If you ever go back up there, check that place out.
Oh, nice. All right.
If you like wings.
I like how Mike is giving Joe recommendations on what to eat in his area.
That's fair.
I'm telling you, if you live in the Syracuse area or near Syracuse and you've never been to Shifty's, you need to go to Shifty's. So
All right.
it's really good. Well, like when I went up there, they were just like, oh, we got some really good barbecue. Like, where are you from? It's like, we got what are you looking for? It's like, something to eat. It's like, we got really good barbecue, and it's like, I'm from Alabama, and they're like, oh, like, never mind, you don't want our barbecue. Then. But I was like, no,
They must oven bait, yeah.
I'll go try it. And it's just like, no, you guys are like down there, y'all have like really good barbecue. South barbecue is the best barbecue. And I went and had Dinosaurs, and it was really good.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's no Big Bob Gibson's from Decatur, I'll tell you that much.
Dude, no.
Well, I'll tell you, if you could
Ain't
clone
no
a
big
dinosaur,
balls.
would you eat it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably. Why
Yeah.
not?
I'd try it. Why not? Right? I
Triceratops.
mean, try it.
Triceratops, T-Rex. I'll try that meat.
Yeah.
Raptors. No.
I've had-
It's too small.
Robotic harnesses on them with weapons and shit.
throw them at
That's
you.
what you do when you clone dinosaurs.
That's right.
obviously.
Get some Dino Riders going, right?
Riders.
I do love Dino Riders.
The I've had barbecue from different places, and yeah, we down here in Alabama, people like to say we take pride in our barbecue, but like we're not known for barbecue. You know what I'm saying?
No,
We got that Alabama white sauce. That's kind of like our claim to fame, right?
That's Big Bob Gibson.
That's really freaking good. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that in Hush Puppies.
Ooh,
That's
chicken,
from Gibson.
man. Look on a chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah, or one of them stuffed potatoes, like the turkey stuffed potato. But you know, Texas, Carolina. I like Carolina barbecue sauce because it's like mustard based. I really like that. But I have gone to Kansas City and had Kansas City barbecue.
I love
beef brisket. The shit was delicious. That shit was so freaking good. And I've had Texas barbecue too, and it's good. But that Kansas City really, really spoke to me. I'm just gonna say that.
You don't need to slather everything in sauce. I mean, you can, but if the meat is done well, if it's prepared well, you don't need sauce. That's any meat.
Kansas City has got the slaughterhouses.
Barbecues. Yeah.
So I mean, like that's what it was known for. Was just that's where you go kill the cows, and that's where the meat goes.
Yep.
So you're getting like super fresh meat. So that's the one good thing about Kansas City.
All right, time for a random question. Because I'm inspired by Toby. Apparently, I just saw a name, and I want to. This is a random question. What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie? We'll start with Jelani.
Ooh. Hold on. Oh, Waterboy. It's Waterboy. Water sucks. It really, really sucks. I think after Little Nicky, though, he went down. Like that's when he went down. He had a good 4-movie run. Big Daddy was good, but I'm sorry. Yeah, but I like all his films from the early stuff. His stuff now is shit. It's straight shit.
I like how Jelani is very like hesitant to like be really opinionated here on the show. I really
yeah. You're welcome.
Joe, I really appreciate that, Jelani, that you've always been hesitant to be opinionated. Nah, we love Jelani because he's opinionated. Joe, you got a favorite Adam Sandler film?
I mean, probably the best film he was in was probably Uncut Gems, but in terms of like an Adam Sandler film, you know, we know what we're talking about here. What are those? Happy Gilmore.
Oh yeah, great one.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I get that and Billy Madison mixed up because like he's the same character, but he's great in both of them.
He's kind of the same character in a lot of his movies.
He's a lot of his movies. Yeah,
he's Adam Sandler.
He's Adam Sandler in a movie.
I think his best movie is actually the album "They're All Gonna Laugh at You," but that's not a movie. Brooks, what's your favorite Adam Sandler film?
Yeah, I think probably Happy Gilmore's my favorite.
No.
Like I hate Billy Madison. Billy Madison was really annoying. I liked Little Nicky. I liked the Waterboy, all right. But like Sandler movies, they kind of lost their luster pretty quickly. For me,
when we grew up, when we grew up and realized movies, like the first time we probably all had sex, we stopped liking Adam Sandler movies.
At that moment.
Yeah, maybe.
As far as Happy Madison movies, like I really liked Grandma's Boy.
Grandma's Boy is a great
good.
Happy Madison. Good. You know, I wouldn't say that's an Adam Sandler film, but I do love that film.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? Oh, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just gonna say it's like you couldn't wow women with playing piece of shit car.
I fucking shared that on my Facebook a few weeks ago. I was like, current mood, because I have 2 cars and both of them fucking suck right now.
Oh my god.
Anyway, what about you, Mike?
I agree with Joe that Uncut Gems is probably his best film, but
that seemed like I've never watched it because it seemed like this is the movie in which Adam Sandler is going to try to get nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah. Well, he already did that with Punch Drunk Love, though.
But Punch Drunk Love's a great movie.
It's great. It is. It's one of his best films.
It's good. Uncut Gems is really good.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't watch it.
Robbie
I had to watch it.
It's an A24 film, Robbie. So there you go.
Oh Jesus! No, I'm not going to watch it then, Mike. Just I'm going to continue. I'm committed to the bit. I won't watch any of them unless we have to do a review. I'm just kidding. I'll watch it. I've heard so many good things about it, so we'll check.
Oh my god! Yeah.
But if I had to pick an Adam Sandler movie, I have to go with The Wedding Singer.
That's
I love The Wedding Singer.
Good choice.
That's a good movie.
Best soundtrack out of all of his movies.
Yeah. Drew Barrymore.
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol.
That's a great movie. I always forget that that's an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, because it's good. It's really
It is good. Well, shit. I'm going to change my pick.
What kind of monster lets a girl sit in the aisle?
Yeah.
What kind of monster does that?
I love that. Just the repeated bit of the damn cart coming across. I've never been on a plane ever, so I don't know. Is that real? Does that like really happen?
It's exaggerated, but it's not impossible.
It can happen.
Nice. I agree. I would say Wedding Singer because my pick would be not an Adam Sandler movie, but my favorite movie that he's in, and his performance in that movie is Airheads. Like I love him in that movie. Like I love that movie. I love that movie so freaking much, man. Like I always wanted to be on radio and breaking into a radio station, and I just love the whole. What's your name of your band? Lone Rangers.
You're not exactly.
But there are three of you. You're not exactly. Yeah, and my favorite Adam Sandler moment in that movie is when he's like trying to get out of the radio station. The cop's there, and he's like following him, and then he starts doing the robot. Like it's just a real fun moment for me. So anyway.
Well, it just makes me think like you're approaching this as like an Adam Sandler like originalist. Like I actually liked him before he was cool.
Yeah, I am probably. I do like Airheads. That's funny.
Good choice.
That was a good conversation. I see some people in the chat had their ideas. So let's see. Logan says Jack and Jill is definitely the worst. I haven't seen that one.
No, I never will.
Brother Joe says, "Give me The Longest Yard." I like the original. But all right, don't mess with Zohan, Billy. You got to be messing with this. You've been doing too many deadlifts, bruh.
Nope, bruh.
Mixed Nuts. What's Mixed Nuts? Is that a These Nuts joke? Is that an actual movie?
Yeah, it is. I think it has like Martin Short in it, maybe.
With Steve Martin. Steve Martin.
Oh yeah.
Steve Martin. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I do know. 8 Crazy Nights. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Jamie says Punch Drunk. I really like Punch Drunk. For some reason, I love that bathroom scene where he loses his shit in the bathroom. I haven't seen that in a long time. That's a Paul Anderson film, right?
I saw that.
I like some of his films. Like I like that one, and I like
the theater. I saw that one in the theater. Oh God,
what's that one I really like with Daniel Day-Lewis. I Drink Your Milkshake. There Will Be Blood. I like that. There Will Be Blood. Yeah. But I hate Magnolia. Magnolia to me is like one of the most.
It's the best poster.
Piece of shit films I've ever seen, man. I hate Magnolia, man. But that's
the story is smashed together, man.
Kid Puke says Uncut Gems. Punch Drunk Love, Longest Yard. There you go. All right. Nice.
He had a lot of good movies.
And I don't like Mr. Deeds. I like the original Mr. Deeds. And I don't like Boogie Nights. I really don't. I'm that one guy that doesn't like Boogie Nights for some reason.
It's okay.
I don't know. It's all right.
Boogie Nights has that great scene when they walk into the party with the steady cam. At the beginning, where it just follows through.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. I'd rather see Michael McConaughey walk through the Emporium in Dazed and Confused. That's a better scene.
Like that's a good scene, but
Michael McConaughey?
Did I say Michael McConaughey?
Michael McConaughey.
Yeah, that's Matthew McConaughey's cousin.
His stunt double?
Yeah.
He got his last name changed.
Hey, man, I'm way too stoned to do this scene right now. Could you just fill in for me? Thanks.
Does anybody here on the panel, any of y'all like Magnolia?
Hell no. I don't. This is a great poster, though. I
tell you, this is why I hate that movie so much.
Yeah.
God, it's beautiful.
I hate that movie because I am legitimately interested in every moment of that movie. And then it rains frogs, and it's like, cut, we're done.
We're done. In the movie.
You got to be kidding me. You didn't have an ending? And then they're like, no, that's the point of the movie is that it just rains frogs. Like shit happens. Sometimes frogs rain, and there is no purpose. And I'm like, that's a
Why'd you
really
bullshit.
Why'd you take 3 hours to get to that? Come on. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know me, I don't like enjoying movies with Tom Cruise in it. I just don't. Like sometimes it happens.
Well, he's a fantastic human being.
Is
other than
he?
the Scientology shit, man, he's a pretty,
That
pretty
is
awesome
him.
dude.
Like,
Past the Scientology shit, he's a positive, super positive, freaking activist. He stands up for things. He's a great guy. And even though he's in Scientology, which is probably the shittiest religion ever, I believe that like he is doing good, and if he was given like real power, he could make real change, like really positive change in the world. That's what I believe. But he also made the Mummy. So
any celebrity has the power to make real change if they wanted to, but they
do
choose
they
not
though?
to.
Do they really?
well,
they
some
really?
do. Brad Pitt did.
Some do. Brad Pitt does. Like
George Clooney does.
Pitt. Who was the other guy that went down to New
Nipsey
Orleans?
Hussle.
Yeah.
But,
you give back. You give back to your fame.
Yeah,
with
Rock.
Tom
Rock,
Cruise though, one of the movies I'll defend that is always overlooked because it's not on the top of like Ridley Scott's repertoire is Legend.
Legend is fantastic.
That's a great movie.
That's
I
a
love
great movie.
especially the director's cut.
Yes. I haven't seen the director's cut.
The director's cut is the cut that makes sense.
Well, I like how confusing it is, and I love Tim Curry.
No, but like it
makes it more cohesive. So it's how long is it?
It's not much longer. It's really like it's more like a rearranging things. It's maybe 20 minutes longer, and it's not a long movie. Like
no, it's not.
So that I love it. I love the soundtrack and everything on that one. Like that's just such like that's one of those movies you watch. You're like, this is an experience. It's not just like a movie. I'm like experiencing something. Like I can just watch like her dance with that dress. Like that is just a wonderful. Like God, it's not enough people talk about that one. And then
Tim Curry in that movie is amazing.
Yeah,
it's low key. It's low key awesome. It really is.
And in terms of like something I saw with him in the past like decade that like I just saw on like a whim and I was like, God damn it, that was fun. It was what was it? Was it Edge of Tomorrow or no? It was
movie.
We just reviewed that. We have a review of that.
Yeah, we did that last year for Action Fest, and that was the first time I watched it, and I was like, "That's actually a good movie, y'all."
Yeah, I don't know. I saw it with like a friend, just like, let's go see it. I had no expectations, and I was like, fuck, that was a good time.
He was good, Jack Reacher. The first Jack Reacher, not the second one.
He's good. He's in some good movies, man. Movies. He really is.
He was in. They mentioned it in the chat. The freaking Tropic Thunder, Les Grossman. That's what made me love Tom Cruise.
That was his like redemption, I think.
He was. I was
after the Oprah show.
Yeah.
After the
that was. I Fable. I love Minority Report. I do. I'm a Philip K. Dick fan, and so I love that movie. I also really like Vanilla Sky. I love Vanilla Sky. I know you don't, Jelani. It's okay though. It's okay.
Did you guys see American Made?
American Made?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
The one where he's the drug runner? That's a really good
one.
But,
I heard about that.
Collateral's a good one.
Collateral's awesome.
It's a Michael Mann film.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Next to
I liked Minority Report at the time. I'd have to go back and revisit it, but at the time I enjoyed it. But God,
I like the moment in that movie when Colin Farrell's like, I want a bloody costume.
It was like that era of movies. Like, but do you remember there was like it had to have been like 2 or 3 years where every other like powerful dramatic movie had a trailer and they all had that song that was like da 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 da. It was like every other trailer, and you're like, come on,
yes. Babylon AD had that. And they use it in all those damn movies. Yeah, everybody used it all the damn. Like it hit the zeitgeist at the right moment. Everybody's like, we gotta. I wrote this whole scene, but it needs this song.
Carmina Burana.
That shit must have just hit public domain, man.
Yeah. Jeez. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like it was everywhere.
Yeah, it's like after Hans Zimmer and Christopher Nolan, now every trailer has the womp.
Yeah. We were just talking about that.
I'm like, just a note, just a tone. Like, and I love that in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. She's like, oh, you score movies? No, not really. I just do tones. Oh, tones. Hell yeah.
God,
I like it though. I like it. Do you guys see anybody see the let's see, what was it? Do you guys know about, never mind, you guys probably don't know about this one. Did anybody watch that Stranger Things 4 trailer? There was like nothing to it. That little teaser or whatever.
I did not.
It's like a little tiny teaser.
I forgot that it was even out.
Let's see. Here's something. Here's something new. Superman movie news. You guys have all heard about this, right? Warner Brothers is committed to hiring a black director and a black actor to play Superman, and it will be Kal-El Superman.
Really?
J.J. Abrams produced, Ta-Nehisi Coates written.
Ooh.
So I that's interesting to me. I really like Coates. So J.J. Abrams producing it, but
it's J.J. Abrams.
Maybe. What do you guys think? Any thoughts?
Well, you can allow that kind of stuff as long as all the way at the top is a white guy. That's the thing.
At least we got JJ producing it.
That's why it's like, don't worry, it's okay. We got
it's
JJ.
all right. Diversity. Diversity, y'all.
Diversity is fine as long as a white man is the one who is allowing it. I hope JJ does like an intro video where he's just like, "You're welcome, everybody. I let this happen, and I can take it away."
I never want to hear anything about the bra scene in Star Trek 2 again.
But you know what? The thing that, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, can't you just like do it and then like let other people be like notice it and talk about it instead of like you guys rolling it out, being like, I just wanted to make sure you all knew that I'm a very good movie studio.
It's like a little bit, I don't like to use the word, but it's a little bit like a virtual signaling, right? It's like, look at us, look at what we're doing. Like, no, like I love that. Just do it.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you look at a bunch of people and you make your decision and then you just do it, and then we'll respect you. At this point now, so many people are just like, this is just like, is this what you think is going to change the fate of the world so we don't end up in Southland Tales? Like, come on.
Yeah, just do it. Well, I mean, this spirals into a whole thing that we could be here till the wee hours of the morning because I have so many thoughts on this. Like, it's one of those things where, God, I'm choking on my own rage, you know, where you're just like, I don't know, like there are people that report on this and act like this is like some form of activism, like you're almost they treat
like you're fighting the system, but you are the system.
Like you're it's
you're
like
in
you're
the cogs that are moving, and you're I don't know.
Yeah, like my movie ticket money isn't going to a charity; it's going to a corporation.
Mm-hmm. Making Nazis mad doesn't like make something a good idea or make it good, you know.
Right.
And there's also like
all kinds of things.
I have so many thoughts on this, just because it's also one of those things where it feels like, you know, the people up top are like, all right, we got like half a dozen or so like black guys' names, and we'll just keep hiring those guys. Don't try to make me learn about more people. Let's just stick to these same guys, and we're just going to keep rotating them, and that's fine. And you know, we're just going to do that. And you see that a lot in comics too. There are exceptions to that. Like I'm thrilled, you know, that people that I consider friends like Vita Ayala and Danny Laura getting work, but like half the time it's Ta-Nehisi Coates, Reginald Hudlin, Roxanne Gay, and it's like it comes off like we really want to hire, you know, people who are black, but I really you better be like incredibly successful in another career. If you're gonna write a mini series for Marvel, you better be one of the most well-known authors in the country. Like,
Yeah, right.
know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, that's not, I don't think this is as helpful as you think it is. It's like,
Well,
that's,
there are plenty of black creators that have been in the industry trying to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? And as much as I do love Coates as a comic book writer,
Sure.
there was a lot of learning I think he had to do to understand how to block a comic book story, how to break it down.
And that adds to it. Like, this is where we talk about like class bullshit and all that, where it's just like editors would rather, bust their ass trying to teach some like rich, successful dude how to do a job than to give someone a break. Yeah. Give someone a break who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And like, that's messed up.
Sort of like CM Punk writing a comic book.
Yeah.
Or J.J. Abrams' kid.
Yeah.
God, writing this Spider-Man book. I didn't even finish that.
Don't.
Okay, good.
Just don't.
I won't.
I think I made it to issue 3 of that.
I think, yeah.
It was super late too. It doesn't matter. So
what happens when you give a 14-year-old a book to write?
I don't think he was 14, but Jim Shooter was 14 when he wrote his first Legion script. So come on, young man, right?
Yeah, it's
okay,
so
Chris.
weird because people often like forget, like, it was a lot of teenagers like running the show at like Marvel. Like Jerry Conway got the keys to the Amazing Spider-Man from Stan Lee at 19 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't imagine today, like, Nick Spencer after his run on Amazing Spider-Man being like, oh, let's give some like fucking college sophomore the keys to Amazing Spider-Man. Like, who cares? Like, maybe Fantastic Four, because no one wants or knows what to do with the Fantastic Four at this point. But
shut the fuck up, Joe.
It's sad. I like the Fantastic Four, but you know what I mean, where everyone's like,
do know what you mean.
What the, like,
I think Dan's getting a little bit better, but
sure,
he's not my first choice for that, at all. But what's your pitch, Joe, for Fantastic Four?
I would have to think more on it, but it's tough to come up with a publishable pitch on the spot. But
yeah, my pitch is what if they're all black and a black writer did it, right? Like, let's
but you also need a black director, as long as the executive producers running the show are white.
That was a really good point to make of that, that they're, and that's the thing, just do the movie, make the decision, be bold, and then let us judge it.
And then,
right now you're already making everybody make up their minds, and now it's going to become like in Southland Tales, you're going to have some people that are like, you're a piece of shit if you're not going to watch the Superman movie, and then other people will be like, you're a sheep if you watch the Superman movie, and I'm just like, I just want a good Superman movie. Like, that's all. I don't care who plays Superman. Can we just get a good one? Come on. I don't know.
It's true.
But another Superman movie.
True.
So, but J.J. Abrams is doing it. So,
I still can't wait for this Robert Pattinson the Batman. I've been waiting for that for ages.
I'm pumped for that.
Can we get that? I want to see it.
I will never understand the endless cycle of people every time they do casting for these movies that are like, Robert Pattinson, who wants him to be Batman? It's like, how many, like out of left field castings have we had in Batman movies now that have been fine? Like, everyone calm the hell down.
Michael Keaton, you know what I'm saying? Christian Bale. I almost said George Clooney. That one didn't work out.
But no, Christian Bale, the Newsies guy.
Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, exactly. Heath Ledger's Joker, the A Knight's Tale, and 10 Things I Hate About You guy.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to be able to do that. Right?
Well, I mean, but unfortunately, I suppose his performance was so good that the Olsen twins had to murder him.
Too soon.
Too soon. I hope they're not watching. They're not fans of the stream, right?
Not friends of the show.
Not friends of the show. Oh, good.
They especially won't be now. Thank you.
Look, well,
they weren't. They were not friends of our show ever since our review of Double Trouble, Toil and Trouble, or whatever. Toil, and whatever the hell. I don't know. Whatever. They did some kind of witch movie back in the day.
Look at the timeline. Shortly after they murdered Heath Ledger, their sister became Scarlet Witch. Just saying.
Illuminati.
Yeah, this, you know,
Curious.
it's it is very curious. This is I feel like people kind of just ignore the fact that these things are going on because it's easier.
That's why
to
we
live
have
that
Joe
way.
on the show. He makes those connections, right, Jelani?
Maybe they made a deal, but it backfired. And that was the twist. Like, they don't get to be in the Marvel movies; their sister does instead.
Well, because they're working on killing all those other people that we don't know about.
Well, what's really interesting
They're
is that what we don't know.
The Olsen twins are just like super assassins.
Yeah,
I think they combine their powers and they form into Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what
that
I
makes more
think
sense.
happens.
But I've
Yeah.
seen all three of them together, man.
That's what they want you to see.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds great.
I'll just say
Robot
this. Their sister is hotter than they are. I'm just going to say that.
I can't believe that worked out that way, but I mean, like, because,
Yeah.
you know, look, I wasn't interested in this at all for multiple reasons, but you all remember there used to be that like website that was like the ticking clock to when the Olsen twins would be 18.
That's like
18.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was a while ago. Yeah.
That's rough,
Yeah.
man. That's
was-
a rough
was a
idea
thing.
that's a rough concept to grasp with, right?
Like-
that was a
yeah.
thing.
The
Like,
Cash
that's
Me
messed
Outside girl. The Cash Me Outside girl. Bad Baby. She was like on the Dr. Phil show. She was like, Catch Me Outside.
Yeah,
How
I know
about
who you're
that?
talking
She got a little picture. All right. She turned 18 and got an OnlyFans and made like $1 million or $6 million or something in 6 hours.
Wow.
I was like,
We're in the
she
wrong
made-
business.
She made $1 million.
what the $1 million in 6 hours.
Yeah, she made $1 million in 6 hours when
That's
the day she
insane.
turned 18.
I
That's
meant
nuts.
to make this point before we were talking about the movie when Sarah Michelle Gellar says that line that everyone wishes they were a porn star. And I meant to bring up, like, clearly now with OnlyFans, that is obviously true.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you know, I'm not here to body
no
shame,
judging.
no judging, no body shame. Anyone can have an OnlyFans.
Everybody.
Totally.
Everybody's got one.
Do I've got two.
I'm just pointing out, I can't imagine how many like schlubby guys have like an OnlyFans.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, and some of them it's just like you're
You're giving money to a person that will never talk to you in real life, like ever.
Yeah.
And you're giving money to them. It's like worse than strippers. And I'm sorry, I'm not against stripping. It's just you give money.
I
to
know
people
you're
to
not
help.
against strippers, Jelani.
Yeah.
Trust me.
No, I'm not. I know you're not against strippers. Trust me.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. They're exotic dancers, first of all. They're adult entertainers. Okay.
Sure, okay. All right, adult entertainers. Yes, sir.
We're sex positive here at PCP.
Yeah.
We are.
We
We are
are.
super
I mean,
sex
we
positive.
all love sex.
absolutely.
We all
It's
love
just some things. It's just a matter of like I wasn't expecting that maybe, and that's
There's a
fine.
market for everything, right, Joe? That's the thing. You
There is apparently a market for literally
Literally
everything.
everything.
Literally everything. Like, I mean, there are OnlyFans of just people showing their feet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've
I'm
been thinking
making
about
money.
doing it.
Making bank. Making real bank.
I've been thinking about opening one for my cat because she's got the cutest little toe beans.
Yeah.
There
She
was one of them that made the rounds in the AP a few weeks ago. It's a person that just dresses up as a parrot, and it's just somebody in a parrot costume just sits on like this little stool, and like you just make comments, and it just mocks what you say. And I think they make something like $100,000 a month just dressing up as a parrot for OnlyFans.
I would do that.
So,
I
Oh
would
my
quit
God.
YouTube in a second and the comics. I quit this whole industry. Who
people act
cares?
like animals.
I'll dress
on
like a
there.
parrot. I'll do it.
So-
100,000 in 1 month. Let's do it.
So prior to things like OnlyFans, back when you just had to, pay sex workers, I had this interview that'll be up on Monday on Purchase Channel with Rachel Pollack.
Okay.
And we were talking about, she did a one shot of Brother Power the Geek and used this villain Dr. Abuse in it. And we were asking her about, like, where'd you get the inspiration for some of this stuff? And she told us the story that a friend of hers told her about this like really powerful, like conservative, like government official in England back in, I think it was the 80s, like really like high level, like people, like he was the kind of person that at the time, like even in the US, like people who followed politics would have like known his name. It was apparently like a real hush hush thing. He would order, call boys, have them come over. They didn't do anything physical. He would just have a conversation with them and pierce into like their darkest fears and like psychologically like annihilate them, like completely, like mentally and emotionally destroy them. That's all he wanted to do, was to just watch a person just and just devastate them in front of him, like just to watch people like cry and just get destroyed. And then he would like offer them like a rare gem as payment.
Thank you for letting me berate you.
Like he would just be like, here's a bowl. There would be like a bowl he would then offer and be like, you take one and be gone.
Oh my God. These are the people leading us, y'all. I'm just saying, okay?
Little bear.
For anyone who tells you the Illuminati doesn't exist, that is Illuminati shit. That is not.
Jesus. Rachel Pollack's the one that had that Doom Patrol run that was going to get collected, and then they canceled it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to read that. That's the follow-up to Grant's run, right?
Yeah, and Richard Case is on like the first 3 issues of it.
Yeah, I need to read that. I want to read
it. It's really, really good. There's some really great stuff throughout the run. And yeah, they just were like, meh. We were going to put it out, and then we didn't. And like, I mean, DC's notorious for doing that.
Yeah, I was about to get to, before we get to show and tell, it's time for my favorite bit every time Joe's on the channel. Joe, what has DC Collections done to piss you off lately?
Oh my God. One good thing they've done in terms of pissing people off now, they waited until the Road to No Man's Land omnibus was out of print, and they didn't announce that there was going to be a No Man's Land Volume 1 omnibus. It was off the schedule. It looked like it wasn't happening. Waited till that was out of print, and then they were like, oh, we are doing No Man's Land Volume 1. And now you can't get Road to No Man's Land.
Oh, my God.
That's some evil shit.
They do this all the time.
Why?
Like, it's
why are you being dicks to people?
I don't get it, because I was like, it's one of those things where I was like, if they're not doing No Man's Land anytime soon, I'm not going to waste the time to get Road to No Man's. And yeah, and then I was like,
out of print, and it's a fortune.
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't get it. It's just like, yeah, it is evil. They do this stuff.
Evil shit.
We were supposed to get like a Promethea omnibus like years ago. That's never happened, and you can't get the absolute editions. Like, it's. I don't get it.
I get it now, man. I understand. I see.
And they were the front runners of collected editions. That's what's even sadder about it. Like, they back in the 90s, you remember when we were reading comics in the 90s, trades didn't exist. You know, but like DC did do them. And the Marvel ones would fall apart, like those Marvel Finest, or whatever. They would like immediately fall apart. And the DC, they were there. But don't forget that they didn't do Preludes and Nocturnes at first. They had the second Sandman book first. Like they've always done weird shit. But Joe's led me into this whole other world where they just are so inept right now at keeping up with Marvel's library. Like Marvel's gotten so good at, like, they're always doing omnibuses. They'll go out of print, but they'll bring them back, and like there are certain things that will be out of print for a long time, but it's a good way to get a big chunk of things. But the DC ones also just aren't as good quality wise as the Marvel ones.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. DCs have gotten better. The problem that DC has mostly now are that the binding tends to be too tight. So, like almost all the Marvel omnibuses, like you can open it at page 1 and it stays flat. Most of the DC ones, you have to get like 50 or so pages in, sometimes closer to 100 for it to like stay flat.
That's my DC 1 millions like that. Like trying to read through that. Then they do weird things. Like they were going to do the John Byrne era Superman as omnibus, and then they decided not to. So they just did deluxe editions.
Yeah,
which are like probably a third of what an omnibus is at half the price. But and they're immediately out of print. You can't get them. But
yeah, it sucks. I mean, I'm gonna get all those just so I have them. I've been getting those as they come out, just exactly that, because it's going to be 4 hardcovers total, and I already have the first 2, so I'm like, whatever. That's just one of those where like when that one, the 3rd and 4th one come out, I'm just gonna get them that week. I'm not gonna deal with this because DC often just does stuff where they're like, oh, like a lot of their hardcovers, like they go out of print. They're like, oh well,
it's just done.
Like
we might think about it again.
You snooze, you lose.
That's awful. That's awful.
No, it's crazy. Or they'll, it's all like, or
and there are like 4 different versions of like Watchmen or something that's out there. What was the thing with the printing history with the Watchmen?
For anything Watchmen related, any one of those gigantic sellers. So I mean, like even like Dark Phoenix Saga for Marvel and stuff like that, Kraven's Last Hunt.
So they keep
There's always going to be multiple versions.
Yeah, you're always finding that, but it's the obscure stuff. It's the more down to earth stuff. I understand now.
Don't even get Joe started on Bronze Age DC collections. Okay, don't even get him started on that.
Get me started there. But here's something I'm going to show you that because this pisses me off to no end. So the George Perez Wonder Woman omnibus. Here, let me show you. I'm going to take this dust jacket off.
Take off the slip.
It's nice, right? They got like the nice little wraparound art.
Beautiful.
Perez is the shit.
Yeah, he's this is really great. Look at that.
I met him 2 times.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
yes.
This is great. Now, let me show you what they did for Omnibus Volume 2. Not bad. It's nice little omnibus, but let me take this dust jacket off and
not shit. Congratulations.
Oh my God, there's nothing.
That's evil.
There's nothing.
Yes,
what?
Nothing.
It doesn't even tell you it's a book. Like it's
Wonder Woman. You have to zoom in really close. And, like,
oh wow, there is something.
Awful.
It's like the Black Album. Look at that.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
And then again for Volume 3.
Oh my God.
I was hoping that one was all white.
Yeah.
I guess it's because it's the first edition.
But just like it costs the same amount of money. They're all $100. Like, give me a break here. Come on. Like you couldn't put like a design on it.
Something for you. Wonder Woman.
Or
Wonder
you could
some silver foil, maybe of the at least the title on the, because people throw those things away sometimes, the dust jackets, and they wind up in used bookstores without them. That's not exciting to have on your bookshelf.
Yeah, it's not at all. It's like, what are you doing?
I like it. All right. Well, it is time for show and tell. And for the last several weeks, we've been going to Jelani last, so we're going to him first. Jelani, show and tell, you're up.
Cool.
Show us what you've got.
I have not had much. I don't have much, but it's okay. It's humble life. I'll start off with my Marvel Legends, some bread and butter. I got this one from your lovely store. I like this Iron Man, the hologram head. It's pretty cool. The whole AI Tony was cool. I like the colors of it and everything. And it comes with the awesome regular head. So this is like the 80th anniversary, but it's repainted. If I can put it back on. There we go. And I love this figure. I like it because it's just classic Iron Man. I can't wait till we get the other suit or that the one from the cartoon show. That's gonna be awesome. And then next I will go with, I found this random Aang figure. I really like. I like the design of it. It came with like 3 different heads, but it came from that company that makes those really crappy toys, X and R or something. But it comes with decent heads. I don't know if you can see that.
Kite thing?
No, it didn't.
Ah.
Yeah, I know. And it had his avatar face. I don't know if you can see any of that. I'll try to make that focus. But yeah. Okay, avatars. And then he's pretty good. Then I have my Flash Gordon. I finally found a Flash Gordon at a Target. They were at Walmart's all over the place, but I have all 3 now. So I have Main the Merciless and the Phantom as well. So I completed my Defenders of the Earth collection. The NECA's pretty good. This is the same body mold that they made for that Superman Aliens 2-pack. He looks good, but I wish I had that Superman more. That thing's $100 by itself. I was like, nope, never mind, pass. So, and then finally, I went to the store and got like 2 of these. I was going to get a 3rd, but this is my Cobra infantry figure.
Nice.
He's the differences between him and the regular Target exclusive was this is the infantry figure. This is the Target exclusive Cobra Trooper. He comes with the red band, and he's lighter. He's a lighter blue. And then this one's a darker blue, and I think there's a black guy behind them eyes. And he's got. I gave him the knife and the gun because I hate the knife and the guns that came with it. I guess gave them to the trooper. But I really like these figures. I'm gonna get like 12 of these. This will be
Nice.
my straight up army builders. So yeah, that's all I had.
Very nice.
Simple.
Good luck finding them.
I know. Well, I'll get them. Well, you got like one more, and I will get more from you.
Just buy some Chinese knockoffs, man. You'll be fine.
Hell no.
You go.
Those will fall
Buy
apart.
some of those. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Speaking of toys, the toy guy's here. Mike 06. Show and tell. You're up. Show us what you've got.
I picked up. Well, I was given this was a gift, but I got a Clancy pin from the Midnight Gospel.
Nice.
So
Very cool.
going with music, I picked up the new Krungbin album. It's a Mordecai. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, that looks nice.
So it's a great album. It's kind of soul fusion, jazzy little thing. Their second album, or not their second album, the album before was. So that's the two newest music pickups. You saw it in the back. I got my mother box. I don't know if I showed that off yet or not.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah.
but
Very
I've had
cool.
that. I've had that in the background for a while.
That will bring Superman back to life
Yeah. When you hit it in the water, just in the right spot.
as soon as Flash runs across it.
He's got to run and hit it.
Lights up.
Cool.
That was exactly what Kirby intended, by the way.
Nice.
Boom tube opens up, so it does all the fun things. I got the same figures that Jelani had on the for the GI Joes. I got the Flint and the Cobra Trooper. So
Stole your thunder, didn't he?
nah, it's just one of those. Like it's mostly. I wanted to do a video series on those, but I just haven't been lazy. I did get it's out of reach. I got the new Walmart exclusive deep cover.
Cool.
The Netflix version. It's
Oh,
the blue. It's the blue version. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's right behind me. There it
Does
is.
he look like the Countach, or is he
It's the same one as side
what's
swipe,
his side swipe?
but it's just
Okay.
blue. So,
Yeah.
but that's the Netflix box.
Netflix
the ones that are at Walmart. He's got the battle damage that they've been keeping up with. So,
Nice.
Yeah. They don't make it
Oh, yeah.
dirty figures.
well, they're kind of worn on Cybertron. So they've been through hell.
Yeah.
So,
Very nice, Mike. Very nice. All right, next up for show and tell will be me. First of all, I got this movie called Southland Tales in this Arrow edition with the slip, reversible cover. So you guys should check that out. But before you watch this movie, you should read this book right here. I had to buy this thing on Amazon for like $40, and I bought that. That was a while ago. I got some comics. There's my copy of Beef Bros.
Nice.
This is one of my favorite single issue Kickstarters I've ever backed. I love the hell out of this book. And I'm just going to show you some of the artwork because it is fan-freaking-tastic. And it is so goofy, but it's got such a heart to it. It's about these two beefy bros who fight corrupt landlords and evil policemen. And dude, like, Aubrey Sitterson knows how to put together a package for Kickstarter. He knows how to promote it. And he's got a new one right now called Stoned Master. You guys should really check out. I got Zach's Kickstarter in finally, Mike. I got my next door in.
Yay!
Nice.
Zach Quaintance from Comics Bookcase. We had him on the channel when that was coming up. I bought this new comic this week, Beckstar. It's pretty decent. You guys should check it out. So it's Robbie week. So let me brag on my girlfriend Jamie. She knows I love movies. She went on my Amazon wish list. She bought a bunch of movies. She's hidden them in my apartment. And each morning I get a clue and I have to hunt down and figure out what the clue means. So here's some. Today was They Live. So I got They Live.
No slip.
No slip, but it does have reversible, so that's nice. That's nice. The first one I got was Teen Wolf with the slip. Look at that. Beautiful. Then there's the Hammer Films Phantom of the Opera. Nice.
Wow.
The next day was Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, which is basically Creep Show Part 3. Love that one. Then Serpent and the Rainbow was yesterday. Love that film. So that's what I've gotten from Jamie so far, and I still have a few more to go. So I'm very excited. But
awesome,
good job, Jamie.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Good old John Hammertime Holshoe did not disappoint, as he usually does not. He got me the Arrow edition of RoboCop.
Awesome.
That wasn't enough. He got me the Scream Factory edition of RoboCop 2.
Yeah.
That wasn't enough. He got me the RoboCop 3 with the slip. And I know this movie sucks, but like, come on.
It's
great. It's great.
He flies and everything.
And
all the ones to get the slip cover for.
It still wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And he got me this action figure, which I think is super freaking cool, man. It's kind of reminds me of the old school one from the 90s.
Yeah.
So John gave me a RoboCop birthday, and Jamie has been treating me like a king, and we still got a few days to go, everybody. By the way, Rockin' Robbie's birthday, that's me, Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Join us for the stream. The Bad Batch is going to be there, and then some of my favorite YouTube friends, and of course, the Excitable PCP crew will be joining us. So there you go. And Joe, if you're free on Monday night, you're available. If you're available, you're more than welcome to join us.
Thank you. I might be off to see how Monday goes.
Just maybe 5 minutes. You come in, complain about DC collected editions for a moment, then you dip out. That'd be great.
They'll have messed up something by then, I'm sure.
I know they will, right? Speaking of Joe and his love of stuff, Joe has some of the coolest stuff. Seriously. Brian was telling me, he was like, I don't know what Joe really does. Like, I know he's a writer and editor. I don't know if he does anything else, but how does he get all those cool freaking comics? He was like the Joker. He was like, where does he get those wonderful toys? Joe, you're up next. Show us what you've got.
Hey, well, for what I've been reading right now, I have been powering through Dan Jurgens' Thor run and 2 giant omnibuses.
Wow.
I love that run. Love it.
It's a great run, and I'm on the second omnibus right now. I'm a good chunk of the way through it. I'm excited to get through all this. It's been great. It's a great ride. And something else I'll show you folks here. I pulled out that I thought people might get a kick out of. I don't know if people have heard of this artist Fiona Staples.
I think I've heard of her.
But I got here a Dr. Phosphorus commission.
Nice. That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's a nice ghostwriter, Joe.
Yeah, she did a really good job with it. She's pretty talented. She's going places.
Yeah. I think someone should hook her up with Brian K. Vaughan. I bet they could come up with something nice together.
That'd be nice. They could
maybe do the second half of Saga, maybe.
Yeah, or like Betty or Veronica, whatever.
Oh, bro, that would actually be cool.
Whatever they want to do. And
Was that it? What was it?
one more I got
nice.
here. It's this is a commission from a Colleen Doran.
Bruh.
And this is Dream on the Iron Throne.
Oh no.
Oh, I
That's-
want that.
Game and Thrones.
Game
and Thrones.
I
oh
get
my
it.
God.
Did you tell her to do that?
That I didn't tell her to do. She was like, I titled it Game and Thrones. And I'm like, okay.
Nice.
But yeah,
Wow.
look
That's
at
awesome.
that
That's
detail.
amazing.
That's a nice
Yeah,
frame
I
too,
love
bruh.
it. I like the frame.
Yeah, you gotta do right by these pieces.
Did you go and pick that up and be like, this is the perfect frame for this, or did you just have that lying around? You're like, oh, let me take this.
It'll be this frame. I'll use this.
I went to like an AC Moore and had him just custom frame it.
Nice. That looks great. Did you did you check out her new Wonder Woman story and Sensational Wonder Woman?
I still got to read that, but I love her stuff. I've ordered stuff from her like website directly, like her the trade, like the remastered trades of A Distant Soil and stuff like that. Like she's great.
Nice. I can't wait till Brian sees your show and tell tonight. He's gonna cream himself. He really is. He loves your collection of original art. He loves it, dude. He cannot get over. He can't get over it.
Well,
That's
thank
great.
you. It's fun.
All right. Speaking of original, we got the original prankster right here. Brooks, you're bringing it home. Show and tell, baby. What do you got?
I picked this up a while back. I've been meaning to show it, but I keep forgetting. I actually picked it up when me and Jelani
Magic.
toy hunting. Yeah.
Very cool. That
That's
sword
right.
looks badass, bro.
Yeah, the sword is nice, and she comes with the katana style one too.
Yeah.
She has like a little Lockheed.
Nice.
And she's cheaper. She's cheaper because the one in the box set is like worth $100 right now by itself. By itself. I like that one. That one comes with
all the rest of the New Mutants though, which is bullshit.
Yeah. They're visual. Well, they're giving Cannonball legs.
Shit.
They're gonna give Cannonball legs, so you can it'll come.
I got these in the mail the other day.
Whoa!
They're,
Are they wireless?
original NES style controllers for the Switch.
Nice.
So you can they're wireless and you can recharge them by clicking them onto the side. It's pretty cool for playing old school NES games.
Nice. And getting really pissed off playing Silver Surfer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Or Battletoads.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
the
Battletoads.
unkillable things. Oh.
And last, I consider this as kind of my movie theme thing. This is my Bible that I got
Nice.
in church.
Was it engraved with your name or something?
Yeah, it's got my name on it.
I've got my
It's
Bible here with
got,
Dragon engraved in it. Cool.
It's got the name of my church and the date 8/25/91.
When you got baptized?
30 years old. Yep. It's got a little wear on it, obviously. Surprisingly, I haven't actually read a whole lot of it, but I've had it a long time.
I love that. It's got a lot of wear on it, obviously. And obviously, I haven't read a lot of it, but it's nice. That's cool, man. That's cool. We'll have to...
Just from it being old, I guess.
I never thought to show off my Bible or my Bibles.
Yeah.
I should do that. You guys just wait till next week.
Well, I considered
Yes.
since Revelations was a theme of Southland Tales, it would be
Oh, yeah.
somewhat appropriate.
It
Oh,
makes sense.
100%. Remember, there's a pregnant woman. That's why Mandy Moore is pregnant in the movie. There's the four horsemen are in there, like death, the Antichrist, and I'm trying to figure out
Bailing is
exactly
the dragon, right?
what's that.
Bailing is the dragon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's her. Yeah, sir. Yeah, exactly.
That's why she's
And-
always smoking.
Yeah, and
serpent tattoo.
Dancing.
yep,
Yeah.
and Sarah Michelle Gellar's The Whore of Babylon, and then Sean William Scott and boxer The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. They are the two witnesses. They mention these things, and that's really cool. So hell yeah, y'all. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Joe. Thank you for being here, Jelani, Mike, and Brooks. Next week is Brooks's pick. Brooke, are you excited to talk about Enter the Dragon?
Nah, not really.
Okay. Well, it was your pick, so it was your
Of course I'm
pick. But,
excited.
but before that, tomorrow night, join me on Dylan's Horror Show for my birthday celebration with one of my favorite horror directors, Dario Argento. We're doing the Three Mothers trilogy, Suspiria, Inferno, and Mother of Tears. And then, y'all, I cannot stress this enough, Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m. Central Time, Dan Waters joining us here on the channel. I am so freaking excited to chat with Dan about some of the best comic work I've read in the last 5 years, which is Picture of Everything Else, Homesick Pilots, Deep Roots, Lucifer. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And out of that Superman Red and Blue anthology, he did a short story with Danny that's like next level. Like that's like a little like 8-10 page story. Next freaking level. I'm very excited to have Dan on the show, y'all. Just so you know, just as I'm excited to have all of you here. So thank you so much. And thank you out there in the PCP Army. We really do appreciate it. Final thoughts, Jelani.
I'm a pimp. Pimps don't commit suicide.
Nice. Joe, final thoughts. And thank you. Thank you so much for doing these movie reviews with us, homie.
No problem. This has been a lot of fun. And I guess if I had a final thought, it would be that everybody wants to be a porn star.
It's true. You know, we're a bisexual nation living in denial because of a bunch of fucking nerds.
Yep, a bunch of nerds.
It's true.
It's all true.
Brooks, final thoughts.
It's like a finger pointing at the moon. Don't stare at the finger or you will miss out on all that heavenly glory.
I love when he's like
skip to the next movie.
When yeah, nice. And I love the moment, by the way, when the Baron in Southland Tales, they have the video of the cars humping each other, and he's just like, when it's done, he's just like,
yeah.
Did you not see that? Did you not see that? All right, Mike, final thought. You're muted, bro.
Yeah, I always do that at least once. So I was committing to the bit on the very end this time instead of the beginning. But yeah, just cars humping. That's all.
Cars humping. That's all right. For my final thought, thank you all for being here. Love one another. Be kind to one another. And do you ever feel like there's 1,000 people inside of you? But it's
shit in 6 days.
But it's your memory. It's your memory that keeps them glued together, keeps them from fighting with one another. Maybe in the end, that's all we have, PCP Army. The memory gospel.